What's good, y'all? It's true what they say. The Washington Wizards might not deserve your respect. There's still a minute and 9 seconds to go in this game, but the Toronto Raptors have absolutely decimated this team. This is a team that averages 112 points, can't guard a soul. They are missing Alex Sarr tonight. So, yeah, you walked in with a really major question on your mind. Are the Raptors going to win by 10? Are the Raptors going to win by 20? Are the Raptors going to win by 30? Are the Raptors going to win by 40? And will the Indiana Pacers also lose, thus allowing the Toronto Raptors to punch their ticket to their very first ever NBA Cup? And I believe that I am happy to say that the Indiana Pacers have lost, the Toronto Raptors have won, the Toronto Raptors are going to the NBA Cup. We used to dream of days like this. The Toronto Raptors had a very balanced game. 4 guys scored 20 plus. Brandon Ingram was awesome. Emmanuel Quickley was great. Sandro Mamukelashvili put all sorts of heart and hustle into this one. And a game of 2 halves, really, for Scotty Barnes. Just a game of 2 very distinct halves for Scotty Barnes. We have won 10 of our last 11. It was absolutely a professional win. And yes, it is our first ever NBA Cup experience. Is BI confirmed okay? He walked off the court himself. Look, man, I think that we were all thinking when the Raptors were up 30 in the middle of the fourth quarter was, what are Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram still doing on the court? The last thing you want is some sort of freak injury to happen right now, and then Brandon Ingram goes up for a jump shot. Bub Carrington undercuts him. Ingram, you can feel the tension every single time he's on a fast break and he comes up a little bit gimpy. When you have rehabbed as excessively as Brandon Ingram has, when you have suffered as many injuries as Brandon Ingram has, you don't play around with this stuff because any injury could be the end of your season. It could be the end of your career. And frankly, it could be the end of all the winning in Toronto, because obviously the Toronto Raptors are not going to be off to this historical start that they are on without Brandon Ingram. And let me let you know how historical this start is. Coming into tonight, 10-5, the Toronto Raptors. This was the fourth best start, tied for the fourth best start in Toronto Raptors history. Almost all of those historic starts came between 2019, 2018, and 2020. You haven't had a start this dominant in many years. And some interesting things have happened in the 4 other times the Toronto Raptors have started this well. One time, they got swept by the Washington Wizards in the opening round. That was not cool. I believe that was 2015. Then there was 2019. You won a championship. There was 2018 where you got through the first round, but in the second round, and these are, by the way, all the best starts in Toronto Raptors history, you beat your first round matchup. I believe it was Wizards. I can't remember. And then your second round matchup was the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that was the year that DeMar DeRozan choked, Dwayne Casey choked, and we ended up getting the big trade in the offseason and Nick Nurse being hired. So the Raptors haven't started this well since then, and it's remains to be seen. It remains to be seen what this season will yield for the Toronto Raptors. But for now, all's good. The Toronto Raptors win 140-110. We used to dream of days like this. Let's take a look at what happened in this game. We got a little bit of a film breakdown. If you'd like to call in, victory lap, support, salute, whatever you got. Shout outs to Pepperjack. Shout outs to Rashad Harris. Shout outs to Cass. Shout outs to our members. And shout outs to the Toronto Raptors for putting on a professional victory at home. I will let you know, I actually had seats to go see this game tonight and opted not to see it because it was a little bit of a thing. Do I want to be in the PCL and do this live on time, or do I want to go and watch the Toronto Raptors play the Washington Wizards in person? And I chose to do the live on time. So there we go. But here we go, man. In terms of the team stats, the Toronto Raptors finally win the rebounding battle. The Washington Wizards are the worst defensive team in the league. They are very, very bad. Okay, this is a terrible team. CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton are for name only at this point. Okay, for name only. They are terrible basketball players at this point. Marcus Smart is gone. Danny Avdia is gone. Imagine watching, if you were a Wizards fan. This is truly one of those fan bases that you pray for on a daily basis, because this does not look good. There is not a single player on this team that convincingly tells me that the future is bright. Keyshawn George has been good. Alex Sarr has been all right. But my God, like, you have been bad for so long. I mean, we're talking since the days of John Wall and Bradley Beal, since this team has sniffed anything close to hope. And here you are. You know, you're preying on Alex Sarr to turn into something more for you. But this team is very bad. They are going to be very bad to end the season. And I was watching this team. They're now 1-13, 1-7 on the road. And I was thinking, is this the worst basketball team I've ever seen in my life? And then I remembered like that 7-win Bobcat team. And I was like, wait, maybe this is not the worst team I've ever seen in my life, but it's really bad. This is a really bad basketball team. And overall, man, I got to tell you, this team just sucks. Their offensive process is bad. Their defensive process is somehow worse. They end up shooting 45% from the field anyway, 29% from three. They had a couple guys who got going a little bit in the first half. The Raptors played around with their food a little bit. They put this team on the line 24 times. They allow them, to get 9 steals and 4 blocks. Turnovers were a bit of an issue, but the Raptors win the turnover battle. They win the points in the paint battle 60-44. They managed to once again win the assist battle. This was a great win. 75% of your field goals came on assists. The ball was humming. It wasn't humming super a lot in the first half, but in the second half, they got it going. The second unit really showed this team how to play basketball again. And there's a trend emerging where the Toronto Raptors are just turning into a second half team. Their net rating, their points per game, their lineup differentials, everything points to this is a team that shows up in the second half. Whatever is going on in those half court, halftime huddles, whatever it is, this team absolutely comes out of the halftime huddle and they are ready to play ball. They usually come into the game really bad. So today you play against a really tough, a really bad opponent. And frankly, it doesn't really matter. You could play bad and probably win by 10. Or you could play really well and win by 30 to 40 points. And that's what the Raptors did. They played pretty good basketball overall. For the Wizards, any standout performances? CJ McCollum with 20 points, talking a little crap to RJ Barrett. He was pretty bad defensively, but honestly, the Raptors missed him a few times. There's no reason that he had to get 20 points. He was the lone 20-point scorer in the starting lineup. Off the bench, you got Cam Whitmore, who had a monster jam and frankly just got lost a couple times in transition and just got some easy buckets when the Raptors weren't looking. Trey Johnson might be the one, spark of hope. Like, I was very high on Trey Johnson, obviously not as high as our friend, our draft friend, Ersin Demir, but man, they're trying him at point a little bit. He's a lights out shooter. He looks a little bit bigger. Like just standing next to Brandon Ingram, he looks like he might be like just wider than Brandon Ingram already. So this is just one of those things where, Trey Johnson is, the Q is who won, said, damn, Rob started this early. Yeah, I did. I started this a little bit early. I did not wait for the game to end. We're like, let's try something out here. We'll try this once. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But here we go, Chris Middleton, awful performance overall, 1 for 6 from the field. Tristan Vucevic, whose name was mispronounced a million times today by the broadcast, he ends up scoring 4 points. They just didn't have anything going. Off the bench, again, Trey Johnson, the only bright spot. I am losing a little bit of faith in Bilal Coulibaly. He has pretty much been the same player for 4 years now. I was very high on him pre-draft. If you remember when he was being mocked as a second rounder, I'm like, this is a lottery talent. I hope the Raptors pick him up at 13. Today, I feel, athleticism, defensive potential has not really resulted in anything but that. It hasn't been great for Bilal Coulibaly. He's dealt with a lot of injuries. For the Raptors, a very, very balanced approach. No player took more than 15 shots. 3 guys took 15 shots. Ingram did all of his damage with 12 shots, got to the line relentlessly, including just a couple of really bad fouls, couple of fouls. He got on the glass. He was very active. He got on the floor, diving on loose balls. Ingram's process was just really good. He also had that huge block on the back end, which we'll look at in our film breakdown. RJ Barrett, almost everything within the flow of the offense. I could have guaranteed you. There's very few things in life I could have guaranteed. There's one thing I could have guaranteed coming into this game. I can guarantee RJ Barrett's going to score 20 points against this team. They do not guard the paint at all. He is one of the best players in the league at getting to the paint. And if you're going to allow CJ McCollum to guard RJ Barrett one-on-one, I got bad news for you, Wizards fans. You're going to get scored on every single time. Barrett was not selfish. He was not, you can tell he really wanted to score a lot of points in this game, and he got it. He got it efficiently. 24 points on 15 shots is very efficient basketball. Got a couple threes to drop, and added in 8 rebounds and 4 assists. Really good process overall for RJ Barrett. Nice cuts, flashes. I think Emmanuel Quickley was even more impressive, to be honest, than those two guys. Okay, maybe not more impressive than Ingram, but honestly, we're comparing tomatoes and tomatoes here. Like, really, just Emmanuel Quickley's process over the last few games has just been so good. 0 turnovers tonight to 7 assists, sharp decision making, smooth relocation, really, really just great off the ball movement all across the board, man. It was impressive just how poised he looked compared to the Wizards guards. He looked like he was on another class than guys like Bub Carrington and, frankly, guys like even Keyshawn George. And you know what? I think a lot has been made of Emmanuel Quickley's contract. Honestly, man, he is earning bits and pieces of it for sure. Armin saying the Nets won. Damn. Yeah, they were up for pretty much the entire game. The shout outs to the Brooklyn Nets for beating the Boston Celtics tonight. Busy game in the NBA, including a big matchup currently happening on playback on Player's Choice between the Nuggets and the Rockets. That should be fun. Turkish Jokic versus Serbian Jokic. We'll see what happens there. Off the bench, Sandro Bamukashvili started out really rough, man. Really great hustle, really good energy, really just getting deflections, playing defense. Just couldn't get them to drop, Threes weren't dropping, little push shots at the rim weren't dropping, getting offensive rebounds, and he was just really frustrated at the half. The ball finally started to go in the hole for him. He ends up, I believe that's the season high, 23 points. He hasn't scored 23 points in a long time. So 23 points in 21 minutes for Mamu on 15 shots. His teammates were looking for him in transition and, frankly, all over the place. Jamal Shed, 4th in the NBA in assists off the bench, and he has 10 tonight. Really quarterbacked the team. Amazing game for Jamal Shed. He and Jacoby Walter just came in and settled everything down. Jacoby defensively, getting on everything. 3 steals. Between Grady, Jacoby, and Jamal, you got 6 steals off the bench. They were pesky. They were positive. And frankly, yeah, Grady had some tough finishes. Couldn't hit a 3 tonight. But, man, he is finding a way to do small things. Yeah, a couple transition finishes didn't go down. There was that breakaway layup didn't go in. But it's fine, man. I'm not judging Grady at this point by his shot making. I'm judging him by the space that he creates for his teammates, which is automatic. And I'm judging him by his defensive effort. And he had great defensive effort tonight. Johnny Ya saying 11-5. Yeah, we are 11-5. This is a fair point and a somewhat, little bit of a negative note on an otherwise really beautiful night, which is Ochai Agbaji just really has lost all confidence and all touch. I'm really hoping he gets it back because he is a mega trade candidate for the Toronto Raptors. He did get to the line and put in, 2 points there, ends up getting 4 points in 16 minutes, but missed his only 3, didn't look confident letting it go, missed this sort of other shot that the next shot he took as well. So it was both in the same possession, but overall, is it weird to say this might have been one of his better games? If you're going to build up some reps, build it up against this team. Kind of surprising to see him ahead of Jamison Battle at this point in the rotation, but it is what it is. Jakob Poeltl, really quiet game, man. He took 1 shot, played 19 minutes, had 9 boards, ton of screens. Just wasn't very offensively involved or necessarily assertive. He was very quick to get off the ball, and I really don't care. I saw it at halftime that everyone was debating, like, why does Scotty only have 5 shots? Why is everyone, freezing him out of the offense? And look, man, I don't think Scotty played a good game in the first half. Let's talk about Scotty Barnes in this game. At the half, the Raptors were up. Let's see. So first of all, just a little bit of a notice, 48 points in the third quarter matches, if not, I believe it is the most points the Raptors have scored in any quarter this season. The Raptors were up by 10 points at the half. The Raptors were up by 10, and Scotty Barnes was a -1. Now, they tell you not to care about plus minus, but in this case, it tracked. So the Raptors go with their typical lineup rotations. Scotty goes out first. Jacoby is the first guy off the bench now that CMB is injured. Then we go into another transitional lineup. Then eventually Scotty gets back into the game. This time, Scotty comes into the game at the 3-minute mark in place of Brandon Ingram. That lineup really struggles. Back to back to back possessions where that lineup fails to generate a good shot. Then we get Jacoby going out for Emmanuel quickly to get a little bit more ball handling. Scotty did not look comfortable. He did not look assertive. He did not look focused. And it just really felt like, okay, wake up, man. What are we doing here? I understand this is the Washington Wizards. I understand you're going to win by 30, 40 points either way. But there is an element of a professional effort. And I was really curious to see which Scotty Barnes we're going to get in the second half. Are we going to get the Scotty Barnes who kind of sulks in the corner because Grady Dick missed him on an early steal, or Emmanuel quickly looked him off in favor of an RJ3? Or are we going to get the Scotty who forces things a little bit? And sometimes, when you're a star player, you got to demand it, right? You got to force it. And I think he did a better job, even though I still think he was a little bit timid. And in terms of demanding touches, he just kind of wanted to float around a little bit, hit his threes tonight. That's a good sign, man. Over this win streak, Scotty Barnes' three has not been going in. He stopped taking them as much. He's often going like 0 for 1, 0 for 2 over this win streak. He just isn't taking them. You need him to take these threes. So it's nice to see him making threes, taking threes. He made 3 of them tonight, I believe, on 3 for 4 shooting, which is good. And overall, just got really assertive. You're going to put Corey Kispert on Scotty Barnes, and he's not going to attack that matchup. That's crazy. But more so, his teammates also have to look for him. But to people who just exclusively want to say, well, his teammates are looking him off, part of that is true. But also, you can't allow yourself to get looked off when you're the max player. You just can't. So you go a couple times, you let it go. But eventually you got to pull people together and be like, hey, the last 3 times you missed me down. I'm sealing early. I'm doing the work. I'm crashing the glass. I'm playing defense. I'm putting my body on the line. You need to find me early. Too often it felt like the Raptors were almost playing keep away from Scotty Barnes in the first half, and he was more than willing to oblige. However, in the second half, we saw a completely different Scotty Barnes hit that 3, got out in transition, got a big dunk, took Corey Kispert to the basket 2 times. Then ended the quarter, I believe it was 12 points. So he had 5 points in the first half, 12 points in the third quarter, and then finished the game with 23 points. So easy. So easy. There's no proof of anything from this. If you don't know that Scotty Barnes could score 23 points in his sleep, he could have come into this game drunk and probably scored 30 points. So it's not just about forcing things. It's about finding rhythm, finding offense, finding schemes, finding lineups that work. And if Scotty is going to be asked to carry weaker bench lineups that don't have as much scoring production, he's going to have to register, hey, this is my lineup where I've got to take good shots. I've got to protect the ball. There was a couple times where he allowed the defense to load up on him. He wasn't fast enough and he threw the ball away. So a couple turnovers for him. But yeah, man. And I understand a lot of people, because they bet and they use the parlay stuff. They really do judge these performances. They don't care about the defense. They don't care about, whether the ball was coming to him or not. They're just like, no, you're a max player. You got to go out there and score 25 points every night. It's not always going to be 25 points some nights. Some nights it's going to be 30 points. Some nights it's going to be 12, 15 points and a lot of other impact. I care that you're dialed in. Scotty Barnes, forget the 3 for 5 from the field, or 2 for 5 from the field in the first half. He wasn't dialed in. The defense wasn't great. Missed a couple shooters. Back cut once late closeouts, lazy transition defense. I didn't feel his impact in the first half. You felt it in the third quarter when the Raptors blew this open. He was very good. Wasn't doing a lot of playmaking stuff. That went more to quickly Barrett, and Ingram tonight was happy to be a play finisher. And honestly, nothing to complain about here. Overall, this was a good team win, and I hope that the Toronto Raptors have a hell of a lot of force and focus for the NBA Cup, because I understand that for a lot of people who are OG NBA fans, they're like, what is this NBA Cup? Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. Look, man, it's basketball. It's basketball. You're a professional basketball player. This is the NBA Cup. It has to mean something. There's $500,000 per player on the line. It has to mean something. There's professional pride on the line. It has to mean something. And you, as the Toronto Raptors right now, are on the precipice of maybe putting the entire league on notice. Everyone believes that the Detroit Pistons are for real right now. There's a little bit of, curiosity. There's a little bit of, is it real? Is it not with the Pistons? But, it passes the sniff test. Joe Enduran has taken a big step. Bickerstaff is a good coach. Cade Cunningham is a star player in most people's eyes. So it passes the sniff test. With the Toronto Raptors, it feels like a lot of people are still playing cautious. They're saying, hey, they haven't had a strong schedule. Look at their schedule. It is a constant talking point with the Raptors. You go into the NBA Cup, you whoop the teams you're supposed to beat. You are the first team to qualify. That should count for something. That'll dominate the news tomorrow. And then go there and beat the crap out of teams convincingly. You have the talent, you have the personnel. Let this be, and this is a more, side note here. You don't want to be the team that nobody gets up for, right? If you're a competitor, you want everyone's best. You don't want to be the team. I'll actually share this with you. Yesterday, I was watching a Zach Lowe and Bill Simmons podcast, and they said the Detroit Pistons are the Eastern Conference's oh fuck team. And what it means is you don't want to be the oh fuck team. You want to be the oh fuck team, actually. You want to be the team on the schedule where people say, oh fuck, we got to play them. The Houston Rockets are the oh fuck team, right? Lance Scott said, Rob, speak on that huddle. What huddle? So you want to be the team that people don't want to face. You don't want to be the team that people just overlook, which is to say you don't want to be the Atlanta Hawks. You don't want to be mid. You want to be a challenge. Now, you're not going to be the OKC Thunder. You're not going to be Denver Nuggets. You don't have the best player in the world. You don't have a championship. But can you at least be the team like the Houston Rockets or the Detroit Pistons where other teams say, oh shit, when we're going to face you because we know we're in for a tough night. We know we're going to be guarded hard. We know that if we don't get up for that game, we're going to get blown up by 30 because that team is not going to bail us out. That's the type of team you want to be, and I'll tell you why. Because there are a lot of teams like the Toronto Raptors in 2007 that nobody took seriously. Respect to Chris Bosh and TJ Ford. The Toronto Raptors in 2014, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, and the ragtag group of We the North Part 1 that nobody took seriously. Those teams didn't really face force until they got to the playoffs. And then when they faced force, suddenly shell shock. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm getting hit harder. And DeMar DeRozan started a career of choking in the playoffs. Look, you want to be the team that people get up for right now. Right now, you see the Detroit Pistons are making all the noise, and you think that's a game. That's a game we got to get. That's a game. That's a statement game. You want to be the team that other teams want to make a statement against, because that will force you to sharpen, and iron sharpens iron. The Indiana Pacers went to the NBA Cup and put the entire league on notice. Tyrese Halliburton, if you remember, the Dame time, celebration. And that was the beginning of that team's ascent. The NBA Cup can be a launch for something greater in the season. So again, I don't want to wax poetic forever. We are 24 minutes into this live and I haven't even gotten to the film breakdown. But I really want to say that the Toronto Raptors desperately need to be a team that takes themselves seriously. And if the rest of the league is not going to take you seriously, then go out and knock them out by 50. This game here, beating this team by 40, this is a good step in the right direction. Not messing around with your food. Okay. So let's get to the film breakdown. Not a very extensive film breakdown. Not a very extensive film breakdown. I'm gonna be honest. This is not the 24 Celtics. Okay. This is not a great team that you faced here, but you did have some interesting sequences. So let's just talk about those sequences here. So here we go. I said Brandon Ingram is cooking early. Great pass here. So look, I have talked about it all off season that I think Brandon Ingram is one of the most underrated passers in the NBA. And I genuinely believe that as he gets more comfortable with his teammates, you're going to see that. Here you can already see the Raptors are up 9-2. And here, just in transition, processing the floor, seeing everything, seeing the defense, paint is wide open. Vucevic is very high up here. And this is how teams try to guard Brandon Ingram. And what is that thing that we did in the RJ Barrett film breakdown where we showed how RJ cuts? Well, you know who else cuts really well? Jakob Poeltl. Same thing. Vucevic does not see this. Ingram does. And here, easy 2 points for Jakob Poeltl. This is exactly the type of pass that Ingram is capable of making in his sleep that he has often not made as a Raptor so far, but he is capable of it. And as he learns to trust his teammates more, he is more than capable. Now here, it's a bad turnover. This is a second turnover in 3 possessions for RJ Barrett, one of his 4 turnovers. Just projecting this pass a little too much, probably trying to do a little bit too much here, but Jacoby tries to hustle for this. Cam Whitmore, just super athlete, beats him to the ball. Not gonna have a lot of guys who are gonna beat Cam Whitmore to the basketball, quite frankly. He's just an atrocious defender here. probably a little bit, the spacing is a little bit messed up. So Ingram reads this whole thing all the way through. And Whitmore is just thinking, stuff it, stuff it, stuff it, stuff it. He's one of the best athletes in the NBA, but Brandon Ingram says, I got a 7'3" wingspan, bro. And blocks one of the best athletes, a football linebacker at the rim. I will let you know that Cam Whitmore is a legit for like 245 to 250 pounds. Okay. And this is again and again, we're hearing people say Ingram is very dialed up defensively, and you can see it. You can see it. You'll see it in a lot of plays here. Look at this. So here, Brandon Ingram defense again. Okay. Jamal Shed waits for the presentation here. Reverse. Jacoby Walter. The Wizards are the worst defense ever. I feel like sounding like awful coaching here. Can I do my best awful coaching impression here? What the hell is wrong with these Washington Wizards? The worst basketball team in the history of the world. Fire everybody. My God. It almost feels incomplete to do an awful coaching impression without complaining about Bronny James. Get Bronny James on this team. God. Okay, here. Ingram digs into the basketball. Keyshawn George, a little loose with it. Gets on the ground. Jamal Shed was super hype. And here, Jamal Shed, just easy delivery here to Sandro Mamukelashvili. Never have to tell Sandro to run in transition. He's so good at it. Okay. Mamu tip, Mamu steal, Mamu finish. What a signing. Here I gets this tip. Another Keyshawn George turnover here. Keyshawn has easily been the Wizards' best player so far this season, but he wasn't the best player on this play. Boom. Okay. And that would be the end of the success for a moment for Sandro Mamukelashvili. Proceeded to miss a lot of shots. Here, I said Scotty gave Grady an earful after this one, and he should have. Okay. Look, simple pass, right? Here, Scotty gets this pass. I believe that was an offensive rebound. Grady fakes it. Probably should have taken that shot, if I'm being honest. You have very favorable rebounding position here. Corey Kispert has as much of a chance of boxing out Jakob Poeltl as I do on this play. So long shot, long rebound. But here he skips past this defensive player here. Scotty correctly is going to move out of the way and present himself as a target, puts his arms up like, give me the ball. And Grady just misses him. This is a wide open dunk. Wide open with no center in sight. This is 2 points. Okay. And granted, you can win this game a million different ways. But Grady looking off Scotty to pass to RJ Barrett, who proceeds to clank this three, is just insane. And right after this play, Scotty just chewed him out. He's just like, do you see me here, man? Come on. So again, emotional reactivity, 90 cents and 90 seconds, right? I said dope half for Immanuel Quickley. Here's a look at how Immanuel Quickley is scoring. And again, squint your eyes and tell me this is not Steph Curry-esque. Again, it is Immanuel Quickley. But just squint your eyes and just imagine this isn't Immanuel Quickley. Is this a little Curry-esque? Not the form, not the speed, not the release, the movement. Nice pass. Brilliant pass, brilliant finish. Do you notice how high Ingram finishes? Do you see like how high he gets up? There's so many finishes that Ingram has where he legitimately looks like he's looking down at the rim. It's insane. Here, just good patience, man. Just great patience on that one. Again, I'm not making a direct one-to-one comparison between him and Curry. I'm just saying this offseason I did a video and I legitimately think he might be the closest thing to Steph Curry in this league. And Steph won quite a bit. Quite a bit. Nice three for Immanuel Quickley there. I said, good stuff, Scott. Finally getting involved here. Dribble handoff between RJ and Brandon Ingram. Scotty Barnes parked in the corner, obviously. They send two to the basketball. Results in Keyshawn George with a bit of a late closeout on Scotty Barnes, but that's all he needs. But the play's not done. You know, I say Scotty's great superpower is sometimes stringing 2 to 3 good plays together. And this one, look at that. 1 decision, 2 decision, 3 decision. Number 1, make the 3, take the 3. Good decision. Number 2, steal the ball. Number 3, get this ball to RJ Barrett very quickly. It is 3 decisions in the span of like 2 seconds that he makes. Really good basketball player, man. And Scotty was just getting started. Now, I want you to watch this play. And remember, I said, like, squint your eyes and pretend it's Curry. Now, squint your eyes and pretend this is somebody that you actually think is a great basketball player, like a Kawhi Leonard. This is so easy. Now, I understand Corey Kesper's not a good defender. I get that. Believe me, I do get that. But look at that. CJ McCollum comes, spin, pump fake, get Middleton off. As he comes down, boom. You could do this 100 times a game if you wanted to. If you wanted to chase 25 to 30 points every night, you could do it. This is not difficult. When he puts his mind to scoring, he can do this at will. We've seen it in fourth quarters, but the concerning part is if you can do this so easily, why don't you do it more often? I think a lot of people would love to know that personally. Okay. I said 10 third quarter points for Scotty Barnes. That's more like it. Sorry, need to refresh here. Why am I having trouble with this? YouTube? What is going on? I apologize. I don't think I'm having internet connectivity issues. I just think that one individual play is having a couple individual plays are having trouble. Oh, there we go. I said 10 third quarter points by Scotty Barnes. Here, Emmanuel quickly takes one of those threes early and boom, clank. Here, Jakob Poeltl makes a pass to Emmanuel quickly drives, collapses the defense, and Scotty Barnes steps in. And that's his 10th point of the third quarter. Raptors lead huge. That put the lead to 81-64. And here I said best defense that CJ McCollum has played all season. CJ McCollum has been such a pylon. It's disappointing, you know, to those of us who watched him in Portland with Dame as that lovable duo that just couldn't make it through in the playoffs. He is really going out sad between New Orleans and this, but this is about as competitive defense as I've seen from him in a long time. Ends up fouling RJ Barrett and talking a whole bunch of smack to him after that play. And I said, this move by Grady Dick, this was a good one, man. Good job. Beats his defender, Cam Whitmore, who is another awful defender. Don't let the athleticism fool you. Beats him off the dribble, and boom, puts the finish down. You know, to the people who say we should have drafted Cam Whitmore, I really disagree. I can't tell you how much I disagree, but I really, really disagree. Okay. Now, this defense right here from Scotty Barnes, you're up 25 in the fourth quarter. There's no reason to have to play this hard. But here, Mamu does his job, Scotty does his job. And remember I said like that thing in my video about like how the Raptors are so successful and they're connecting pieces. Well, this is a great example of connective defense. Two guys go to the ball, force the play, and Grady Dick is going to get what on his box score? A steal. But who really created that steal? And again, this is no disrespect to Grady. This is no disrespect to Scotty. This is no disrespect. It took three people to create that steal, to create that event. And that's the connectivity we're talking about. So it does not always take one person to create 2 points. Sometimes it is all one person creating 2 points. Sometimes it's six. Sometimes it's five people creating 2 points. And this is why I think sometimes box scores can be misrepresentative. And here, Grady, you need to finish this. You need to dunk. I've seen you dunk contest clips, man. You can dunk. So dunk. All right. Here, up 25 points. Scotty Barnes draws the defender, Keyshawn George, out to him and gets Jamal Shed a wide open three, which pops the lead up to 28. And the Raptors never looked back again. Now, again, I love that. I love that my star player is super freaking unselfish. Love it. And I love that once in a while, when he feels like it, he does shit like this. Great pass by RJ Barrett and Scotty, barely getting off the ground there. Kind of moving sluggish, holding his elbow a lot. I wonder if he's okay after this game or during this game. But I said the Washington Wizards might be the worst team in NBA history. Here, Scotty guides earlier in this play. Scotty guides Emmanuel quickly to drive baseline. And here they fake the dribble handoff. Look at both Wizards defenders. They are so confused by this. They miscommunicate the switch. Emmanuel quickly goes downhill. RJ Barrett does that thing that we were talking about earlier, where he is literally the most efficient cutter in the NBA per points per possession on cuts. And Emmanuel quickly just gets out of the way, and the home fans get a little bit of Star J Dunkathon. My God, the Washington Wizards are an embarrassment to basketball. Truly. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, the Toronto Raptors dodge a bullet on this Brandon Ingram jumper that ends up going in. Ingram, fake, double, probably should have passed here. I'm gonna be honest. I felt bad about the shot the second it went up. I'm like, man, you got a couple of young players around you. Don't take a chance here. And here, that's Jameer Watkins. Shout out to Jameer Watkins, Florida State. Watched him the last couple of years. He's a good young player. He's foul and then slams his slams his ankle into the ground over and over and over again just to almost make sure that it's okay. And again, this is almost identical, not exactly, but to that play where, to the sequence where he threw the water bottle and got maligned for an entire 48 hours on the internet, where I feel like people don't realize how much anxiety there is around injuries for this guy. I mentioned it earlier in the live. You need to have a lot of empathy for this. If you haven't gone through injuries, you probably won't, but you do need to have empathy for what this guy has gone through. He's worked insanely hard. I know a couple people that were really close to him when he was with the Pelicans, and this dude worked every single day on his body. His conditioning, he has never come into camp out of shape. This is a person who cares. This is a person who gives a shit about his body. And the fact that his body has betrayed him this many times is honestly heartbreaking. But a lot of injuries is not a lack of preparedness, but rather genetics, bad luck, and someone undercutting your foot, just like we saw with Vince Carter and Bruce Bowen, if you remember that back in the day. That shit is just bad luck. These are big human beings. Sometimes they occupy very small spaces. So really, really breathed a sigh of relief when he came down. I was just like, oh my God, please, 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 please. And God answered my prayers because he was fine. And if you ever want to know how connected and just how together this team is, watch this play. Again, you are up by 30 points in the fourth quarter. Emmanuel Quickly is not a rookie or some second round hopeful or some, free agent to be. He is a guy with a very secure contract who has no reason to extend himself to do this. But watch this play here. Quickly blocks Jameer Watkins, who is a very big player, a 6'5", 6'6" player with good athleticism. And look at Scotty Barnes on the back end of the bench. You're going to see him get up here. He gets up. He's super hype. He almost jumped onto the court. He screamed so loud. A friend of mine attended the game, and he's just like, that play, Scotty didn't scream that loud the entire game. He had dunks where he screamed after. He had other plays where he was like up on the bench celebrating, screaming. That one play where Emmanuel Quickly blocks that shot and Jameer Watkins, this is what you need, right? This is the vibes. This is what we talk about. This is a team that cares about the right things. And you can see the discussions on the bench that are happening afterwards. The vibes are immaculate on this team. It's not perfect. There's a lot of things to clean up. There's defensive coverages. Guys are getting missed. Ball is sticking too much. But this is what the early part of the season is for. And quite frankly, the Raptors have avoided, touch wood, serious injury. They have avoided mega losing streaks. They are now 11-5. There's nothing to be upset about right now. And DJ Screwbox saying Mamu got the chain. That's dope. The call-in link is in the description below. Shout outs to everybody. Shout outs to our members. Shout outs to our community. And shout outs to everyone for supporting this channel. Thank you so much. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And we got Jay calling in. Jay, how you doing, man? You got your Raptors gear on. What are you doing? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Celebrating here, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing better than end off the week with a win, right? So Raptors, I hate saying this, but TCD. And that's what you're supposed to do. And like you're just mentioning about the winning culture, Scotty standing up like that, bro. Like that's why I watch his team, like because of him and what he brings and how like he is leading the team. Like you see how everybody cuts right away when he gets the ball, everybody runs. That's him. He's
Yeah.
telling them, hey, as soon as I get the ball, you have to run up. So I love the way that this team is playing. I'm glad that Scotty's they kind of like he's looking engaged. That means like there's some fulfillment going on there. Like he feels fulfilled because I know when he was losing, he was
Mm-hmm.
not. You see, he's so different. Like that's the thing I appreciate the most this year. If
Yeah.
you look at him, he's so poised now. Like okay, the other day he got into some foul trouble and he got a couple of attacks, like back to
Mm-hmm.
back games. But nonetheless, he came back and in he like that play that you said that was so easy where he drove to the basket, got and then got that little mid range right there. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing now. I'm seeing him doing that on a consistent basis, right? Because I know he understands like what's at stake here, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if the money has something to do with it, right? Because now he's a big chunk of the cap is indebted to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he feels like responsible for that and like demonstrating that he deserves that kind of a pay, but
Sure.
yeah, I love what he's doing. I wasn't really rating this game too much. You know what I'm saying? The competition wasn't there. I'm like you. I want to see them other teams be hungry to face them. That way they actually face a true opponent and
Right.
the flame sharpened steel per se, right? So
Yeah.
um yeah, just like this was like a TCV. I'm not really like I'm glad that you were able to like show us some of the analytics behind it, but I wasn't really checking out the game like that. I was just like making sure it's secured and that was it, because I knew it was gonna be in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can beat anyone in the NBA these days, but there's some teams that just can't beat some teams. You know what I mean? Like the Jazz can beat the OKC Thunder. They can do it. They have a type of player, but the Wizards without Alex Starr and the Raptors healthy, like that's not that. And there's the NBA Cup implications. This team has taken care of business with the NBA Cup, so yeah, this didn't feel like I was actually telling my girlfriend, I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with not having gone because this game was hella boring in the first half. It was hella boring, man. It wasn't one of those games where it's like, oh, this is riveting. I wonder what's gonna happen. I hate to say it. It's nice to see your team blow another team out by 30, 40 points.
Yeah,
It's also sometimes really exhilarating to see the kind of games we've seen lately, right? Those super close games. But yeah, man, like the Raptors schedule is softening up. Like it's softening up. This is evidence of what you could do to really bad teams. You know what I
right.
mean? People have been saying like the Raptors are playing really bad teams. It's like the Minnesota Timberwolves, sorry, the Memphis Grizzlies. You remember when we beat the Memphis Grizzlies and they didn't have John Morant, but they did
Yes,
have Jaren Jackson, right? Would
right.
you believe me if I told you that Memphis team went into Sacramento without Jaren Jackson and John Morant and whooped the Kings by like 40?
I believe that. DeMar's on the court.
DeMar, Zach Levine, Russell Westbrook, Domantas Sabonis didn't play, but like Keegan Murray was back. Precious Achiuwa starting for them. Shout outs to Drew Eubanks. My God. Dennis Schroeder's off their bench right now. I mean, they got a competent group of somewhat NBA professionals. It's not like they're starting Cole Swider and Colin Castleton and shit. But man, it's there's layers, man. There's layers between bad and super bad. Okay. And the Kings are super bad. The Wizards are super bad. But teams like Indiana, I don't know. They could beat you every now and again, They can get hot. And especially when you have like 3-point shooting, that's a great equalizer, right? Your threes don't go in, their threes go in, suddenly, boom. You get what's happening right now with Utah. Because Utah is currently beating the OKC Thunder like by 12. I mean, it's not real. They're not gonna win the game, but like, they're up. Yeah. Um, anyways, man, thanks a lot for calling in. You got any final thoughts?
Um, yeah, I want them to face the Pistons. Like that's the true test of the East right now. So,
We only faced them
um,
3 times this year.
oh, that's whack. But that's the I don't know. Like I can't believe what's going on with the Celtics.
Losing
They
to the
took.
Nets, man. They lost to the Nets.
Listen, man, they're supposed to be running the East right now. Like I know you got these young teams surging right now, but yeah, those are teams, those are vet teams, championship caliber teams. But
The
you
Celtics
know,
aren't championship caliber anymore. They got
no, not
Jaylen Brown, they
anymore.
got
Not
Derek White. But
without.
in fairness, I mean, the Brooklyn Nets are no more. I mean, okay, look, first of all, this is why I say net rating is a little bit misleading. Walking into tonight, the Celtics had a top 10 net rating in the NBA. I don't think they're a top 10 team. I submitted my power rankings to PC. I think I put them like 18th. I don't think they're a good team. But, a lot of the numbers and the analytics say they're a better team than they really are, because when they're shooting well, the Celtics can beat any team by 30. When they're not shooting well, they can lose any game by 20. And that's kind of the point. Like, the Celtics just they're not a good basketball team this year. They've got some interesting pieces for sure. There's another team that's really doing well with the analytics right now, which is the Phoenix Suns. Is that real? Or is that just, what I was mentioning earlier? It's like, that's just a team that everyone's ignoring. Everyone kind of sleeps in, the day of. And next thing you know, like you're down 15 and they're out shooting you. Like, sometimes you catch teams early. Like, people don't take you seriously. I remember there were players who used to describe what it was like the night before you face Steph Curry. Like, oh, you have to get your sleep. You can't go out anywhere. You got to make sure like you get your rest, your game day rest. I'm like, man, these dudes are preparing for like 80 hours before facing Steph Curry to go out. And we're talking about a bench guard, just a bench guard who'll guard him like 18 to 22 possessions in a game. And they're just like, yeah, you have to really be sharp because he just moves you around so much. And that's the kind of team I think I want the Raptors to be. I want the Raptors to be that type of team where people are like, oh man, we got to bring our A game to Toronto or they're going to whoop us. That's what I want. Yeah, man. All
Yeah,
right, man.
like
Go ahead.
2014 team, 2014, 2015, something like that. But yeah, man.
I don't think the 2014 team was taking that seriously. And be honest with you, I feel
No,
like
they
everyone just
weren't.
kind of
Like
thought
it's
they
kind
were
of like what
fake.
you said. Yeah, there
The
was no.
2019 team was taken seriously because they had Kawhi.
Yeah, even prior to that year, they were
Yeah,
being taken seriously.
they've definitely taken a lot more seriously. But I feel like when Kawhi got here, there was like a different level of seriousness to it. You know what I mean? Like, people are just like,
Yeah,
oh, they're like legit basketball team. And I feel like, again, I'm not saying anything disparaging about DeMar DeRozan, but I feel like Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes carry that kind of cachet around the league where they're not, they didn't just come out of nowhere. These are known commodities. Everyone knows them. People have been talking about them for like 10 years now. So I feel like if these two start winning basketball games, this will be a team like, oh man, that's a really tough defensive team, and they got Scotty and Bi. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like it will come. It will come. I feel like that respect will come from the rest of the league. Anyways, man, appreciate you.
thank you for taking my call.
Of course, always. Pre-game, what is up, man?
Hey, Rob.
How's
I've
it
been
going?
following you for almost 3.5 years now,
That's
and
dope.
I don't get to watch the lives live actually, but today's one of those rare times, so I had to call in. I
Appreciate
want to
that.
say I'm really, really, really happy for Darko. It wasn't that long ago in the summer or the season where many people in the media and even you were concerned about the future for Darko with Pelly coming on, not getting a long leash, and just the uncertainty of what happens when the people who
Right.
don't know you, who don't trust you, who didn't bring you here yet, might make some decisions. So I'm really happy for Darko. And I remember you shared some interviews that Darko did over the summer, maybe a few months ago. He was on some podcast. There was this Greek interviewer who was awesome. There was a Serbian interviewer. I don't speak Serbian, but I watched it with subtitles. And I think, I don't know which one of the interviews it was, but one of the interviewers asked Darko, what do you pride yourself on? And he mentioned two things. One, he said he loves the player development aspect. He loves watching young men, kids grow, develop.
Right.
I think he talked about when he first got into coaching when he was 16, his teammates all kind of didn't even invite him for the coaching kind of process.
Right.
And he was talking, he saw little kids and he was just so overjoyed by that. And that kind of got him started on the coaching journey. So that whole process. And the other thing that he said was he doesn't judge himself by where his team started at the beginning of the season, but where they finish the season. So that kind of stuck with me. And I've been watching this 11-5 start and the development, not just this season, but the past 3 seasons, in Darko's entire time. I'm just so happy for him because we see the fruits of his labor. We see the chemistry. We see the in-game coaching. We just see a sliver of it. We don't see everything that happens behind the scenes. So for all the players, we're obviously very happy, but I couldn't be more happy for Darko.
It's a really good point. You know, you again, we're not kids. Like, you sound like an adult. I'm an adult. We understand sometimes good things don't happen to good people. Sometimes bad things happen for good people. Sometimes, you know, it goes vice versa. But I think, you know, most of us grew up with this idea that good things should happen to good people. And I feel like Darko has approached this from a very genuine place. I think he has approached this job from a very good faith perspective. I myself have learned so much listening to him, talking about his approach to players, his approach to development. I feel like it is teaching me how to be a better leader. Every day I'm watching, you know, his interviews, how he, you know, talks about development, how he talks about bringing guys up, how he doesn't malign anybody. He doesn't talk shit about anybody. He's not coaching through the media. He's not giving the media any anecdotes about, like, or tidbits to you know, protect himself. He doesn't deflect from blame when he's done a bad job. He's like, I need to do a better job. When Scotty's having a horrible game, he doesn't say Scotty Barnes is terrible. When Ingram is having a tough shooting night, he says, you know, we got to trust him. Even Quickly, like when Quickly went through that early start, he just infused him with confidence. You know, Darko's favorite word before getting to Toronto. Do you know it?
Patience?
Nope. Any more guesses?
Win the day? I mean, that's his motto, right?
It's a word. It's literally a word. It's a 4-letter word. Does anyone know it in the chat? Yep, that's it. This is the word. Swag. I, at 37 years old, am starting to learn that confidence is a really big thing. Okay. Swagger. Walking in like you can do things is a very important part of actually doing things. And I think that all offseason, he has preached the right message. We are going to be great. We are going to be a playoff team. We are going to guard our butts off. We are going to play this way. And then anytime it's reverted to this, you know, selfish sort of like me versus everybody basketball, he's very quick to cautiously like pull you right back into line. Anytime someone slips up defensively, have you noticed how quick the adjustments are? When a lineup isn't working, 2 possessions, boom, timeout. 2 possessions, boom, next dead ball, someone's out, someone's in. His combinations, he's balancing a perfect line between patience and impatience, right? So I think he's been great. He deserves every good thing that's coming towards him. I think he's my runaway favorite right now for Coach of the Year, you know, and that would just be wonderful. There's a lot of Raptor coaches who've won Coach of the Year, and I don't think they deserved it. This will be one that actually deserves it, for sure.
I gotta say, while we're giving Darko his flowers, I gotta give you your flowers.
Okay.
Because just like how Darko is big on teaching and development, I didn't start following you from the very beginning of this channel, but I've been a Scotty fan from the very beginning as well. I think I came across somewhere on the quarter mark point of the first season of Scotty's tenure with Toronto, and I went back and saw some of your first videos, and I think your kind of opener to Pensare Basketball. I remember you saying something about you're gonna call it like you see it. You're gonna just kind of state the facts, and you're gonna show people what you see. And I don't know if you said teach, but I got that from your message, and I want to give you your flowers because I think you've taught this community a lot. I don't want to speak for the community actually. I've learned a lot from just watching you break down film, and I think that's a through line between what you do, what Darko does. So, congrats to you for staying true to that. I can't thank you enough for not doing what many other content creators do, which is take ad revenue. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with ad revenue.
I get ad revenue. I don't take gambling revenue, right? But I take ad revenue.
I'll tell you what irks me is there's many content creators in many different walks of life who will put together a podcast, and then you've got ad breaks in between, and they read a script because they're sponsored by somebody, and I can just tell this is not genuine. This is not who you are, and I can, you know, you have to pay the bill somehow, but I appreciate that we don't get that from you. You know, you're making it happen. You're staying true, and I think that reflects in the community you have and the loyalty of the people who show up, win or loss.
Would you like to test your recall? I actually pulled up the video that you're talking about.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, let's see if I said anything about teaching. I don't think I did, but my memory is going to shit right now because I am 37 and for some reason I am not remembering things very well lately. So let's see. I don't think I said anything about teaching.
It
but
might.
But I think what I said was we may not always agree. Okay, that's what I think I remember. Okay,
welcome to Pensare Basketball. On this channel, we're going to have intelligent discussions about the sport of basketball, from breaking down game film, discussing analytics, and dissecting league-wide trends with a very strong focus on your Toronto Raptors. During the offseason, you can absolutely expect free agent and draft discussions. I love college hoops. I can't promise the highest end video essays, and I can't promise we'll always agree, but I can promise regular, well-researched, and smart content. My name's Robert Mishevich. I'm an ex-writer for the Bleacher Report who did a lot of work in radio in my early 20s, and I've been watching basketball for nearly 25 years. As I found myself diving headfirst as both a director for Pensare Films and as a festival director for the Pendance Film Festival in my late 20s, I honestly found myself missing basketball. Watching the games and attending them simply wasn't enough. I've always wanted more and to do more, not only to help grow the game of basketball and how it's understood and talked about alongside thousands of others on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts. I mean, honestly, I just missed the game and I want something to do within the world of basketball. Within 2 years, I would like to see Pensare Basketball be your #1 source for Raptors content on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get this channel off to a booming start.
Oh, my two favorite players, OG and Scotty. Damn. Okay, well, pretty good recall. I think the message is clear. You are correct. That I was hoping to teach. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I remember, and you've done that consistently. So thank you for being consistent.
Yeah, I've done my best. I do work with honest intention here, but yes, there's much work to do. And if there's anything I actually do share with Darko, because I know that he knows a million times more about basketball than I do, but if there's one thing I do share with him, it is relentless pursuit of like that Icarus, like I can be better, that thing, plus caffeine. Addicted to caffeine, gotta have caffeine. I just had a coffee like 2 hours ago. I'm gonna be up buzzing until 3 a.m. But yeah, so those are the two things. And we're both from Čačak and we're both from Serbia. That's what we have in common. But yeah, I respect Darko a lot. Thank you so much for calling in. We've had now 2 callers, I think, on back-to-back shows giving me flowers, you know, and I historically have been very, very bad at taking praise. I'm trying to get better at it without making awkward jokes.
Yeah. I was trying to see how uncomfortable you'd get.
Yeah. Well,
you didn't.
I didn't get that uncomfortable. I'm getting better at this. All right, man. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Peace. Army Kid 000 said, I just joined. What the F happened in the third? Well, an explosion of offense and persistence of defense happened. We scored nearly 50 points. I think we scored 48 points. Also, GC Productions 4875 sent a $7 super chat. Thank you very much, by the way, for the super chat. Every dollar helps. I sprained my ankle today. It's pretty bad. I hope I took BI's pain. Oh, damn. You got to love Raptor fans. I'm going to tell you, I managed to play rugby, tennis, and basketball throughout all of high school without suffering so much as a single ankle sprain, which is frigging fantastic. I had a finger sprain. I had a really, really tough neck injury at one point because of rugby. At ET Galaxy said, how do I call in? There is a description under every video. I can actually show you. Would it be helpful for this channel if I actually show you a tutorial on how to call in? I would hate to think that there's a legion of people out there who would love to call in but have no idea how to do it. So let me show you how to call in. Hold on one second. Droid, because it is uh-oh. I apologize. My throat is God, how do I get there? Apparently, I don't know how to call in either because I can't even get to my channel here. Hold on. 1 second. So to show you how to call in, first I need to find this video, which is probably here. We are live right now. So this video, so you go here, and if you go to the description right here, every single game I do this, there are links. Call-in link right here. Can you see my screen? You can, right? So the call-in link is right at the top. So if you go to StreamYard, now let me give you a view or a preview into what that looks like. So you call in like this. This is going to be really trippy. I'm calling myself right now. So you call in. You enter the studio, right? You see yourself. Really freaky here. You select your audio input, which is probably your mic, presumably. And then you check your camera, and then you enter studio. Let me see. Anyways, I'm not going to do it, but you just have to enter studio, and then you show up in the lobby, and I would be able to invite you. Somebody just came through and then left. Okay. AG still getting trolled for his oh, this is creepy. This is creepy. This is so creepy. Okay. Grills, which is AG. I'm too high to call in. Can barely see. Oh Lord. I have a Derek Lively trade for you. Inception pen. Bueno Kitty saying, I'm most impressed with Penn's change in demeanor over the years, and the ums are gone too. I thought the ums were gone forever, but the ums have actually come back a little bit over the last little while. I've noticed there's been some ers and some ums lately. I was telling my girlfriend about this the other day. I was like, I thought I got rid of these, and they're back. Every time I'm out, they pull me back in. I'm trying to get better with it, though. I realized after I pulled the ums from my vernacular and my manners and speaking that when I listened to other people it was extremely frustrating. All right. Hernan, you know, okay, you're gonna have to mute your YouTube, Hernan. If you can close the YouTube, you'll be able to see me on StreamYard. And that way, and please get headphones. That would also be a big one, because otherwise I'm gonna hear echo. You good?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Very well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Rob. I guess I don't have much time to be on here, but I just wanted to thank you so much for your knowledge on basketball and the Raptors. I think it's very insightful, and I like how you're like biased about it. Like you're not like all for the Raptors, but you know, you look at the real stuff. You know what I mean? Like what's going on with the team and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And also, yeah, I'm really happy this season so far. I was not expecting the Raptors to play this good. Honestly, like I thought they would be better than last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the way they're playing right now is just like I'm like in awe. You know what I mean? Like Bi, like he's been like the it factor for us. You know what I mean? Like he gets us out of trouble and all that stuff. And IQ man, like he's come through lately. You know what I mean? Like he's struggled the first few games of the season, but recently, like, I'm really happy with like the way he's been playing. Like his assist numbers has gone up too recently, which is like his passing has improved. Like I'm really happy about this Raptors team, to be honest.
Absolutely. I think there's nothing to be upset about yet at all. Obviously we can get to the playoffs and then have, you know, Darko not make the adjustment we want or something like that, and then maybe people will be upset then. But I think for now, people should be extremely proud of this team. Like this team works really hard. They play the right brand of basketball. They're very selfless, and yeah, there's nothing to complain about. This is a team that takes care of business. I'm curious, how do you think they're going to do in the NBA Cup?
Well, honestly, like the performance tonight was. I mean, obviously the Wizards aren't the best team, but
They're the
I
worst.
mean,
team, literally.
exactly. But I mean, the Raptors came out and they did business. You know, they were. I mean, the first quarter I feel like was their worst quarter. After that, I feel like
Right.
each quarter they like stepped it up each time. You know, right? But
Mhm.
honestly, in the NBA Cup, like I'm not even sure at this point, man. Like we could go all the way if we continue playing this way. You know what I mean? It's like a defensive style, especially like when Jamal Shed comes in, when IQ checks out, like he kind of like changes the game up a bit with his defensive intensity. You know what I mean? So, and honestly, like I feel like Bi's been great, but like Scotty Barnes is just like the two-way player he's become is just yeah. I heard you say like something about Kawhi. Like honestly, like he's just been unreal this season.
He has his moments, yeah. And I think with all young players, I'm always looking for flashes, moments, right? Like there's welcome to the league moments, right? We're seeing like I don't know if you watch Derek Queen and what he did to the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic in a loss, but that's a moment, you know. And obviously, you know, it's nothing. You're gonna get schemed and people are gonna figure you out. You have to work hard when teams take away your moves. You got to find counters. You got to find counters to counters. But yeah, sometimes it's nice to see a young player, you know, who's still so far away from what he's going to be, give you that, you know, like that Cleveland game that Scotty had, where it was just like he dominated every end of the court and was like, wow, wow, you know, or even a quarter here or there. And I think he gives you that. So now it's just a matter of making it more consistent. I was listening to Zach Lowe and Bill Simmons' podcast yesterday, and they said the numbers are pretty much the same for Scotty Barnes, but the process has changed completely. He feels sure, you know, he feels poised, he feels mature. And yeah, the numbers are not, it's very deceptive, you know, 20 points, 19 points, whatever. That's never the point with Scotty. The impact is the point, and he's been very impactful for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. With Scotty, you can't really look at the numbers. I mean, like if you're a Raptors fan and you watch the games, like you see like what he does on the floor, right?
Sure.
Like a lot of times he like guards like four different defenders in one possession. You know what I mean? It's like his switchability that like makes him special. You know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I think he's one of the rarest players in the league that really could say I can guard 1 through 5 and play 1 through 5 on both ends, and it's just
Yeah.
not something that should be taken for granted. Talked about connective pieces making the Raptors go yesterday in one of our lives, and I think he is the ultimate connective piece. I think players like him are the future of the NBA in a lot of ways. I think Cooper's like that too. You know, you look at the top of next year's draft, and it's like Darren Peterson. Okay, that's a very different type of player. But if I look at AJ DeBonsa, I look at players like Cam Boozer, I think it's Scotty Barnes, Cooper Flag. I'm just like, wow, teams really like this type of player. You know, it's very interesting that every team is trying to get this type of, you know, connective star player. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I think you said you didn't have too much time, but I appreciate you calling in anyways, showing us love and you know, spending some time with us on the call-in shows. Always great to hear from people we haven't heard from before.
Is it okay if I ask you one last question? It's a quick
Sure,
one.
sure.
I was just wondering, why do you think the team doesn't play Jamison Battle more minutes?
Who would you want to play him over?
I mean, like he's kind of inconsistent, right?
Sure.
I mean, like at times he'll be on fire. Other games he might hit like one or two threes. But I mean, I feel like he should get like more minutes in the rotation, right? Like I'm not saying you should play over Grady or Jacoby, but like I feel like you should get more of a chance, right? Because like, I mean, like when he does play, like he shows potential, right?
He does show potential, and he is a really, really good player. But again, I have to ask, like, who does he play over?
Well, you got me there to be honest, because I really like what I've seen from Grady recently.
Mm-hmm.
He's been better, and Jacoby he's been better too. So the team has depth. Like we can't complain about that, right? Like we didn't have depth last year. But I feel like this year we have like a deep team. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And then I guess like in that situation, I guess some players won't get as many minutes as maybe they deserve to, like a Jamison Battle, right?
Sure. And I mean, I think Jameson is a wonderful undrafted player who stretches the court and does a lot of the same stuff that Mamu does, if we're being honest.
Hmm.
Mamu's another lethal shooter. Grady's another lethal shooter. He'll get his opportunities. He doesn't have as much wiggle off the dribble. He doesn't necessarily move as well as Grady in transition. He's not as good a defender as Jacoby. So while I'm a huge Jameson Battle fan, I'm also a big Jonathan Mobo fan. The question then just becomes, yeah, I love Jonathan Mobo. Who's he supposed to play over? You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's just kind of where it comes down to, is just like it's a good problem to have, man. I remember being a fan of the Portland Trailblazers and the Sacramento Kings in the early 2000s. The Sacramento Kings had this young forward at the end of their bench. You might have heard of him, Peja Stojakovic. And
Right.
the Portland Trailblazers had this young high school forward at the end of their bench named Jermaine O'Neal. You might have heard of him too.
Yeah.
And these guys couldn't get into the games. They couldn't get into the games. And so, it's kind of like the blessing and curse of a great team, or not a great team. Certainly the Raptors are not a great team, but a good team is you do have much more competition. And I think that internal competition will make Jameson Battle better, but it will also push Jacoby to hold his spot. It'll push Ochai to hold his spot. Last year, and again, this is something that Fred VanVleet said a lot. He said, yeah, and it pissed me off when Fred said it, honestly. He did. He said, a lot of guys on this team get undeserved opportunities. And, when I was coming up, I didn't get undeserved opportunities. And it pissed me off because it felt like, like that's such a dick move to say that about your teammates. And, it's not a very encouraging message to hear if you're Delano Banton, that all of the opportunities that you're being given right now, and Malachi Flynn, that you don't deserve this. But I think what Fred was really preaching at that point was wise, which is basically, it's better to have to earn your opportunity than to be gifted your opportunity sometimes. And I feel like right now, Jameson Battle, Jonathan Mobo will have to fight harder to crack the rotation. And then you just find out, because let's just be honest, if you can't crack this rotation, you're not someone that I regret moving off of. You know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
not like you've stacked your bench with like all stars. No, you just have competent players. So now Chucky Hepburn, if you want to crack the rotation, you're gonna have to work really hard. And Jamal Shed, if you want to keep your spot, you're going to have to work really hard because you got this bench guard coming up right behind you who's roughly the same age as you, who does a lot of the same stuff as you. It's good. It's really good. Yeah, I think the Raptors are doing the right thing. But yeah. Anyways, man, thanks for your comment. Appreciate you.
Okay, of course. Take care, man. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night. AG, you are high. What is up?
Yeah, well, sorry, my bad. It was hard to find the unmute, but yeah, man. I just wanted to say I love this. I love what I saw today. I mean, it was pretty expected. I had no doubt that we were gonna beat the crap out of these guys.
Sure.
I love Jamal Shed. Like, I was watching this game and I'm like, bro, this guy and Mamu are like unbelievable together. They're so good. And man, he's just, I think he's quickly like rising up the ranks as like best backup point guard in the league, like legitimately best backup point guard. Because when he comes in there, he legitimately changes the game. He changes the whole entire complexion, the speed of the game, the organization, and he's just so good. Like, he's just so freaking good. And shout out to IQ, man. I was on his case early in the season, just heavy, just roasting him everywhere I went, talking Raptors. And this guy's balling his ass off. Like, he's shooting threes like crazy. And you were comparing him to the way he gets his shot off, kind of like to Steph. And I could see it, his just quick pull up release. It's really, really good. Like, if he continues this way, I think he's gonna work himself into like non-tradable. I would not trade him, to be honest with you, because if he can develop and he can get better, because I can recall when OG was traded, which really hurt. I was really excited about IQ. I really was. Everybody was like looking at the whole RJ's Canadian thing, but I'm like, yo, IQ's a hell of a player. What's that one point guard? The New York guy, forgot his name. Jalen.
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah. So when he was out, IQ was coming in, scoring 30, like whatever. You know what I mean? Like carrying the offense well. So I love what I'm seeing. I'm starting to really fall in love with this group. I don't want to see them get broken apart right now. I want to see them get into like the new year, like, and then see what our team looks like at that point. I'm willing to hold off on trade chatter. I just want to see these guys grow and get better as a group.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It'll be interesting, but I think there's some things that already to me are very concerning. The slow starts, the lineup synergy in the starting lineup, the defense, the roles, sometimes the stickiness of the ball. But yeah, like it's a young team. They all do fill a role. They're playing their best. They're trying, and I don't really think there's anything wrong with sticking it through. You do have to make a move with Ochai Agbaji, though. You kind of have to. For cap purposes, you have to. Like you're not going to pay the tax bill to keep Ochai Agbaji. Like no offense.
Well, that's true. I mean, you probably watch a lot of games as well, bro. I'm telling you, like I watch a lot of teams play, and there's just a lot of sloppy play right now. It's the beginning of the season. Even the great teams are having bad nights. I mean, we saw Denver struggle against Chicago and even lose. So I'm not going to really hold it against the Raptors. These bad start. I mean, they're working out the kinks, right? It's a group that's never played together like before this year, with Brandon especially being integrated. So that's going to take an adjustment period. So that's why I'm willing to be patient with this group. Outside of like a guy like Ochai, I mean, he's got to go for sure, right? So, but I've seen a lot of games from other teams, and there's a lot of like teams that are supposed to be good that are not playing that good. So I watch their games. I'm like, these guys are not as good as I thought they were. So like I like it. There's a lot of parity in the league this year.
Like who's not as good as you think they are? There's
well, I mean, we got Minnesota on the screen right now. I mean, I was watching them and I was not impressed with what I was seeing at all.
Yeah, they haven't beat a good team yet this year, and honestly, the Suns might be the first quote unquote good team they beat this year, which is crazy to say because the Suns are themselves not a great team. So yeah, there's a lot of fake stuff going on right now, but with all stats, things with lineup data, things with standings, seedings, odds, championship previews. I think these things sort themselves out between game 20 and 40. I've always heard like, by game 40, you kind of know internally like what type of team you are because you've pretty much faced 85% of the league at that point. You've seen the matchups, you've seen your holes. And I think, for this team, shout outs to them. The biggest takeaway from tonight was they crashed the glass hard. They won the rebound battle. They didn't allow themselves to get totally dismantled by the other team. But again, like when you face better teams, Drummond, back-to-back games has given you problems. Embiid gave you problems. Like size has given this team problems. And I'm watching some of these veteran teams. A lot of these teams are not trying to be good right now. Like they're just trying to get through this medium part of the season. They'll pump it up around January. So there's two parts of the season that I don't think people should ever take seriously. It's the first 3 weeks and the last 3 weeks. Those parts of the season are never to be taken seriously. And honestly, the closer you get to the middle, the more serious it really is. That's how I feel.
But Rob, let me say this. I think the Raptors' start of the season was as tumultuous and as like not difficult, but like it's not something like it was hard to deal with. Like I think they had a really I think they faced a lot of adversity right off the bat, right? Because their starting center was like unplayable completely, and they didn't have a backup big.
Okay, on a scale of 0 adversity is like everything's perfect, and 100 adversity is the LA Clippers. Where are we on a scale of 0 to 100 in terms of the adversity scale?
Well, now that's like down to like 10, 20. Okay. But in the beginning of the season, it was like pretty high because their starting point guard forgot how to shoot. Their center was unplayable. I mean, they had guys struggling off the bench. It was not a good. It was pretty bad, right? And so they got it together quick. Like they completely flipped the script. Once Jakob got healthy, people just started playing better. So I think, even though it's been like a few games, like how many games have they played so far? Freaking 17? For 16 games?
16.
Yeah, 16 games. Through the 16 games, I mean, it's like a tale of 2 seasons almost, Like I think they've seen a lot of things. They've seen a lot of different things. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I think I like it.
Okay. Yeah. Before you get out of here, I want a quick prediction. Are the Phoenix Suns going to win this game?
Yes.
I think so too. Okay. AG,
Okay.
thanks a lot for calling in. Appreciate you calling in. Hope you didn't take too much slander for your Derek Lively trade last time.
All
That was
good.
funny as hell. Thank you for the content. I thought about your trade a lot, and yeah, it's still crazy, but I like Derek Lively. Peace, man.
All right,
Take care.
peace.
Peace. Okay, we got Retro Jasper. What's up, Retro Jasper? What's going on, man?
Not much. I was just interested in hearing your opinions on like the idea of going out and getting somebody like a Keon Ellis or Daniel Gafford. Those are two guys that I'm really interested in the Raptors acquiring if they become available.
I love
I
Keon
think,
Ellis.
yeah.
You know, I was looking at the Kings against the Memphis Grizzlies, and I looked at their starters, and I threw up in my mouth. Just threw up completely. I saw Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Precious Achua, Drew Eubanks, and I was like, ugh, ugh, this is horrible. And then I looked at their bench, and I was like, wow, Keon Ellis, Keegan Murray, Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, Malik Monk. My God, what a perfect bench! Amazing players coming off the bench, and horrible players starting. Just terrible basketball team. So yes, I would love Keon Ellis. I would trade, you know, a lot to get him. And I do like Daniel Gafford. I'm curious, do you prefer Daniel Gafford over Day'Ron Sharp, and why?
I think I think defensively, I think Daniel Gafford's a bit more proven.
He is more proven.
Yeah, more experience. I think he's
He is
probably
also
gonna fit.
older.
Yeah, he's going to fit into the system a lot quicker than Day'Ron Sharp. Not that there's anything bad with Day'Ron Sharp. You know, he's still a great player. I just think that he's going
Do
to
you
maybe.
think based on what you've seen from Gafford that he's a good enough passer to fit into Darko's system?
I think that. I mean, even if he isn't right now, he's going to be forced to be, and I think that he's one of those players that can probably adapt. But I do think that he has the chance and ability to be that kind of passer.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't necessarily see it. If I had to choose between the two straight up, not even factoring for contracts, not factoring for age and experience, I just think Day'Ron Sharp fits better. Also, Day'Ron can shoot a little bit. So that's a major, you know, like I want to trust Darko. Can you imagine those coaching meetings? We're gonna get CMB and Day'Ron Sharp to become shooters. Jonathan Mobo, get over here. Oh, what is this coaching staff being put through? They deserve like a raise. But for real, like I think Day'Ron has a really good touch. I think he's a really good passer, and you know he's not Jakob, but like if there's one guy who can become Jakob's permanent understudy and just replicate all of Jakob's shit, it would probably be Day'Ron. I think he's just so good, and I think Daniel Gafford's a better shot blocker, a little bit bigger, stronger, maybe. But Day'Ron Sharp is like 265, dude. Like 265, 6'10, 6'11, 265. Man child, moving dudes out of the way. Plus, he already played with Scotty in high school. And plus, he only makes $6 million a year instead of $14 million. And he's younger. I take Day'Ron Sharp 10 times out of 10 personally. But yeah, I like where your head's at. I like the archetypes.
Yeah, I was trying to think because like, would you say that Sharp is more mobile than Gafford?
Not necessarily. I mean, I don't think either one of them stand a chance switching out to Tyrese Maxey, but that's not something that most bigs can do anyway. So I'm not overly concerned about that. I'm more or less looking at this from the perspective of, you know, could you get out and just do enough that I can recover? Can you give enough resistance at the point of attack that I can scram switch or just not scram switch? Can you just bother the driver enough to funnel them into a controlled direction? That's basically what I would go for. As opposed to being such a pylon defensively that you're just giving clear blow-bys. And I don't think either one of them is necessarily mobile, hip switch, you know, not expecting CMB or Mobo type hip flexibility for hip fluidity from either one of those guys. But yeah, because they're just huge human beings, you know? Yeah.
All right.
Anyways. All right, man. Thanks a lot for calling in. Any final thoughts?
That's it. Thank you.
Thanks. Lane, what's going on, man?
Yo. So just a fair warning, I'm a little bit sick. So if I my nose, you hear it, I apologize. That's not me.
That's okay. We had someone call in who was high. Now you're calling in who's sick.
I
What is
heard-
going on to our channel? What's going on with our community right now? I
know,
hope you're on the
right?
mend.
Yeah, no, Tylenol's got me okay. So
Dope.
just a little bit of a head cold. It is what it is. Gotta get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. So I just want to call in and real quick issue an apology. Issue an apology to Pat Delaney. I was on his ass through
really
the
were.
first 5 games of the year. And the man has adjusted, right? And I guess it's on Darko too for adjusting. Because coming into the season, they were doubling everybody. You cross half court, you get double team, right? Found the shit out of you at the foul line. They have completely adjusted their defense. It's almost like they had a second training camp after the first 5 games of the season. I said, okay, never mind. We're going to do
Would
this
you
now.
believe me if I told you that I don't think they did so willingly, but rather because they had to, and
Oh,
that they
100%.
will pick it back up when they can?
You know what? If it happens more, I hope it's a little bit more controlled.
I think the personnel needs to be different.
I don't know if I don't know if you want to mess with a winning formula right now though. Like I get it for 2 minutes at a time. Like trust me, I like if you play defense like that for 2 minutes at a time, like you blitz their like a really shitty backup point guard or a center who, looks like a dumbass when he sees a double team. I have no issue with that.
I feel like
But,
if you blitzed this team tonight, if you had played that way against the Wizards, I think you could have beat them by 85 points.
Oh, 100%. But the thing is, you gotta know who you can and can't do that against. And I think against good teams.
Well, I feel like a part of my opening for this live was you want to make a statement to the league, right? I think beating a team by 80 points is a statement. It's a statement that the team needs to, either that the Wizards need to be demoted to the G League, which is true, and also that the Toronto Raptors are for real. They just stomped the team by 60 points. Obviously, 85 might be pulling it, but the shock, the sticker value shock of seeing the score 95-36. You know what I mean?
I hear you. My biggest worry right now is being the 2021-22 Chicago Bulls. Right? That's my biggest worry right now. And I think
you can't be that team. Literally can't. Number one, you're already way younger than that team. And number two, your best players are better than those two.
I mean, from a record standpoint, like a fall off standpoint, a momentum in the season standpoint, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. That's what I mean. I don't want to look back in 30 games and now all of a sudden we're 5 games below 500 because we just ran out of gas, ran out of juice. I think the biggest thing for me right now is how professional that they're winning these games.
Yes.
They're putting these bad teams away early, other than the Hornets, but I think the Hornets are a lot better than their record says.
I agree.
A lot better than their record says. It's going to be interesting. You're going to have to do that again on Sunday. You did it on Friday. Can you do it again on Sunday? Because Monday is your first test since the last Sixers game that you lost. Not this previous Sixers game, but the last one that you lost.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. This is your first test. So if you go 3-0, tonight's 1-0. I mean, Sunday, let's not get cocky here, but it should be 2-0. If you go 3-0 through this 3-game stretch, I mean, you're putting people on notice, right? Like you said, 80-point wins, 50, 60-point wins get you put on notice. What else gets you put on notice? Handling business like a grown man. That gets you put on notice. I think that's the biggest separator right now between the Raptors, the Pistons, and maybe some other teams. If you were to ask people, who would you trust in a 7-game series, Cavs or Raptors, Pistons, Cavs, a lot of people are going to say the Cavs because they've been to the playoffs, they've done it, blah, blah, blah. They won 64 games last year or whatever, right?
But you can't really, you can't jump the gun on proving things to people because unfortunately you won't be able to prove anything until you get there. You could literally go on a run, win 60 games in the Eastern Conference, and the lazy analysis in Bill Simmons is still going to be like, well, wait till they get to the playoffs. We'll see what they do when they get to the playoffs.
And it's always been that way. It's always been that way, man. I hopped on the Raptors bandwagon back in 2012. All right.
Okay.
When I was 10 years old, I hopped on the Raptors bandwagon. All right. It has always been that way growing up. especially the 13-14 season, even more so the 14-15, 15-16. Like, it's always been that way. We're never going to get credit. Hell, even when we had Kawhi, people were saying that was a terrible trade. Right. And it kind of gave me deja vu when we traded. They said he's never going to suit
Yeah,
up.
but they said it was a terrible trade precisely because they didn't think he was going to report, and they didn't think he was going to stay, and all that
Right,
stuff.
but they
Not
also said it was a terrible trade because you tore up team chemistry. You took away the one player that always wanted to be there, and they bashed us. No player's ever going to want to come to Toronto again. No player's going to be loyal.
Who
to
were you
Toronto again.
listening to? William Liu? Who were you listening to?
ESPN. They were bashing the hell out of us. They traded DeMar. DeMar did so much for that franchise, and even though I agree, I'm a huge DeRozan fan. He did. They bashed us because of that, and I saw the same. Shit. I'm not calling Brandon Ingram Kawhi. I don't think I'm saying that, but I saw the same shit when we traded for BI. It was like, oh, they're trying to go too fast in the rebuild. They're bringing in an injury-ridden player. This core is too damn expensive. Blah blah. No matter what we do, we're not going to make people happy. I'm not fucking worried about making people happy. I'm worried about handling business. Right now, we're handling business, and like I said, I just want to give kudos where kudos are due. I think Pat Delaney and Darko have completely adjusted. I think they have. Kudos.
Over under. Okay, yesterday Zach Lowe, respected basketball analyst, Bill Simmons, respected basketball clown, decided to do a podcast where they picked their league pass teams, and Bill Simmons drafted the Toronto Raptors. Over under on how many games you think Bill Simmons has watched of the Raptors over the last 3 years?
Over the last 3 years,
full games.
I mean, just because he's getting paid for this, I'm gonna go 6.5, and I might take the under.
I would say 1.5, and I would take the under.
Jeez.
Full games, like full wire to wire, full, like no fast forward through a quarter, none of that stuff. Come on, man. He said in his interview, okay, actually, I'm gonna pull it up. I'll pull it up. Actually, I'll pull up the clip.
I see there's some people in the comments that are like, everyone liked the quiet trade. Yeah, everyone in Canada. I live in the United States. I saw the media down here and what the media down here was saying. The media down here.
Social media was around too back then. Like, I mean,
it was.
You're not lying. You're definitely telling the truth. There were some skeptics. There were some people who were like, this is a big risk. But I think the vast majority of people were like, you know what, this team has run its course. And they're not very good in the playoffs. And, Kawhi is an amazing player. So this might work. This might not. But because people want a knee-jerk reaction, obviously, it doesn't sell a lot of headlines when you just say, I don't know what to make of this. It might work out. It might not. So I think people felt the need to say it will or it won't. And given Kawhi's reputation in San Antonio, I feel like the Raptors trading for Kawhi, the negative backlash from that had a lot more to do with Kawhi than it did the Raptors, personally, because if the Celtics had traded for Kawhi, I think a lot of people would be like, what are you doing? He's a head case. Look, man, the San Antonio stuff really ruined his credibility, and that's a big reason why he has a middle finger ascribed into his championship ring, because he wanted to say F you. So it was a risky trade. But here is Bill Simmons drafting the Toronto Raptors. Again, I am an expert in face, okay? Look at the pain on this man's face as he talks about the Toronto Raptors.
A team that I didn't think was going to be good.
Look at the contemplation. He's just like, is there a way to not pick them?
I've been surprised.
He just, look at the anger. He's just angry. He's just like, I've been surprised. They're not terrible. Fuck. I bet my house on the under.
He sounds like his balls haven't dropped yet.
Really, really good bench.
And this is how he discredits everything, because he basically spent the entire offseason shitting all over the starting lineup. He said the starting lineup's not very good. Ingram, Barnes is overpaid. Quickly, I don't know what they're doing quickly. Barrett sucks. So obviously, we got to find a way to reconcile for our audience, the audience that foolishly listens to this man on betting advice every single day as his FanDuel sponsored FanDuel pick, and all that shit that he's talking about is sponsored by Michelob Ultra. So, like, when they're listening to him say, oh, I'll take the under on the Raptors or whatever, obviously he has to build back credibility. So now we're just going to praise the bench.
Which I didn't really see coming either. The Toronto Raptors.
Hey, there you go. Now, listen to how the Jamal Shed superfan from college talks about Jamal Shed. Listen to this.
Yeah, Shaheed, right?
In college.
Shaheed.
And I remember he fell to like the mid 40s.
Shout outs to Jamal Sheed, man.
Here
Jamal
comes
Sheed.
Yeah.
Jamal Sheed Wallace. You know, Rasheed Wallace. There was Rasheed Wallace. He played for the Detroit Pistons, and then we got Jamal Sheed Wallace, who plays for the Toronto Raptors, who's picked in the mid 40s, which is fucking on his Wikipedia page. It's like, you're not a fan of Jamal Shed. You're not a fan of Sandro Mamukelashvili. You're not a fan of anybody. Frankly, most of your teams that you drafted just had white guys who were really good on them. So it's just a really weird thing. So my point to you is, do I really care? Do I really care what this guy has to say about the Toronto Raptors?
No, and
No,
it's
I don't
very
fucking
funny
care.
that he gave credit to the bench. I mean, actually, it's just been an energy and a hustle bench. It hasn't been that much of an efficiency or point scoring bench. You know, you take Mamu and Shed out of there, and oh my god, it's a nightmare. But
Well,
you have those
actually,
guys, and it works a little bit.
Grady deserves a ton of credit, and the way the bench has been synergized with the starting lineup. And again, there's one guy at the ringer that I will give a big shout out to, Rob Mahoney. That dude, he knows ball. He really, really understands basketball, and he called it. Like, he called it how he saw it, and you can tell he watches games. Kevin O'Connor, yikes. I was listening to his podcast with Esfandiar Barhaney, and he was so dismissive of the Raptors and Barnes and Ingram and the whole thing. So, you know, shout outs to KOC, not clearly very high on the Toronto Raptors. And there's a little bit of fandom in me right now that makes me just like shut these people up. You know what I mean? I've never felt this way before. I can't say that I really have. I can't remember if I have, but there's a part of me that really just wants this team to shut everybody up.
Because we've been punched in the face the last 3 years. You know, it's like everyone waited for us to suck. They kind of pour it out on us again. Because you can't pour it on us when we're winning 50-plus games a year. You can't do it, right? Even when we got swept and there was LeBron toe, and then we win the chip, but then we get knocked out by the Celtics in the second round, blah, 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 whatever, you know. And then we have the off year and Tampa, which really doesn't count. And then we have that first-round playoff series with Philly. And then the last 3 years have just been a wasteland. But everyone was waiting through from pretty much 2016 till now to start piling it on us again, you know, by now, like 3 years ago. And they still think shit's sweet. They still think we're the same team that we were last year, that we were 2 years ago. They think it's still sweet, and it's not still sweet, right? Those 3 years were not the norm for Raptorland. Those 3 years were an anomaly. This is the norm. This is one of the best run organizations in the NBA. This is what the Toronto Raptors are. The Toronto Raptors are not what they have been the last 3 years. The Toronto Raptors are what they were from 2015 to 2020. And guess what? It's back now. It's back. So what are they going to say? What are the culture is still here. The culture is still the same. What are they going to say? I cannot wait to win 50 games this year and just look back on all the preseason rankings of, you know, where they expect us to be and the over-under betting odds and all that shit, and just laugh. And just laugh. Like, I know you're going to make like 5 videos on it, right? And with victory lapping, as you should. But, I mean, it's almost hilarious how much they doubt us. And if we were someone else, if we were the Celtics coming out of a slumping 3 years and we put together this lineup and this rotation, man, we'd be gods. You know, we'd be gods. We were the Lakers. We'd be gods. But we're not. We're the Raptors. So, hey, let them sleep.
Yeah, like even when they were talking about the all league pass draft, they were talking about interesting players, right? Like Con Knipple, that's interesting. Jokic, history, interesting. What's the big storyline with the Raptors? Redemption, sure, right? Scotty Barnes, ascent, I guess. Some people believe in it, some people don't. Some people still see him as like the ultimate glue guy. The resurgence of Brandon Ingram playing inspired basketball and reminding the entire league, like, what's up? Maybe. RJ Barrett goes from, you know, trade fodder, toxic asset to willing participant and valuable contributor on a winning team. Emmanuel Quickly. And is it just like, is it a little bit like that 04 Detroit Pistons team where you just kind of get counted out? Is it not like the 04 Pistons team because that team was already pretty good? Is it like the 01? I don't know. Like there's teams, but honestly, what this team is sort of starting to remind me of in terms of its fabric is the 2025 Indiana Pacers, ironically.
A little bit. And here's the most encouraging thing: your two best players haven't even been that good yet. To be honest with you, they haven't been. They haven't been as good as they can be.
I agree with that.
They haven't. And that's the scary news. If this is mid Scotty and mid Brandon, imagine what happens when they go into overdrive. If this is the worst they're going to be all year, you're in a really good spot down the stretch.
I would like to believe that both of these players have another gear that they can hit. Like, they're not insecure. Like, one thing I'll say about Ingram and Barnes is they're not insecure. They're not necessarily trying to go out there and prove what they can do on a basketball court versus the Wizards, right? I think this is a team that's confident. I think both these guys know in their hearts, like both of them are talking all offseason playoffs. Ingram said it early. We're going to the playoffs. Barnes on his live stream, we're going to the playoffs. There's no other goal this year but the playoffs. So these guys have kind of spoken the shit into existence. I think they're setting the marching orders for the, for the team itself. But it's like once in a while when you see them and you're down, when you need it, like I think Ingram has another gear where he can go to where he forgets about, the injuries and he just goes out there and he plays really hard. And I think what people don't realize sometimes is talented players have different gears. Like insanely talented players have more gears than less talented players.
There's a reason why those guys are lottery picks. There's a reason why those guys are top 3 picks, top 5 picks at the end of the day. And it's because the potential of them having that gear is there, right?
Yes.
Guys like Scotty have that gear. Guys like BI, they have that gear, right? Now, the guys who are great, and there's some guys like Giannis, who get picked outside the lottery, at the end of the lottery or whatever,
Sure.
where they have that gear too. But the high up, my fault. I'm so sorry, man.
No worries.
Like the guys who are picked high up,
Mhm.
right, that end up being successful are able to turn on that gear when needed to, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
My fault. I gotta clear my throat. So they're able to turn that gear on when needed to. That's the difference. We've seen Scotty turn it on before in the past. We know what BI can do when he gets hot. I remember a game he had 2 years ago on the Pelicans against the Raptors where it felt like he put up 30 in a quarter, right? I mean, he hit like 7 threes in a row. Like it was something ridiculous. I mean, it was absolutely insane. We know what that guy can do when he gets hot, right? So it's obviously there. And for your two best players to not be playing their best basketball right now, however, you're still 11-5. I mean, insane stuff. And now, granted, I think it helps a lot that quickly he's kind of come back, the equilibrium, and he's kind of peaking a little bit. And you're hoping it's not a peak. He keeps building. And I mean, to be honest, RJ hasn't been that good either, up to this point. And you're still here. I don't know, man. I'm not being ignorant about this. Like, this feels like a top 3 seed in the East. Like, who else can compete with this lineup right now? They can't even compete with them when they're on like 60%. I feel like we're 60% of what we can be. So when we get to the playoffs and we're 85-90, barring no injuries, who's going to compete with this? I see maybe the Cavs. I don't trust the Pistons yet. Maybe the Knicks if they get healthy. But I mean, even then, everyone before the season was saying, "Oh, the Knicks bench depth, their bench depth," and I think we've lapped them at this point, bench depth wise. Josh Hart or Mamu, who do you want? Josh Hart this year alone, not based on previous seasons. Josh Hart or Mamu, it's a toss up, but I might go towards Mamu. All right, let's keep going down.
I think for this team, I might go Mamu, but in a vacuum, I take Josh Hart 10 times out of 10. I don't think Josh Hart is incredible.
He is, but he hasn't been this year. I don't know if he will be. The shooting's not there. The stuff that made him special analytically in the past is just not there this year.
Great shooter. Josh Hart's never really been a great shooter.
No, but the years where he's been really good, he's been around 33 to 35% from 3. And he's nowhere close. The shot doesn't look there. The analytics don't say that the shot's going to be there. He's not getting offensive rebounds the way he has in the past. I think he's still playing a little bit hurt, but he's playing slow. He's playing behind. I don't fear the Knicks bench, and if we see the Bucks or we see the Celtics in the first round, I think it's barbecue chicken.
At what point of the season can you realistically say, okay, I can take this at face value? Like, how much of a team do you have to see? For me, the rule has always been 21 to 40 games. I have to make my decision in that space. So as much as I preemptively am victory lapping a little bit, there's also a part of me that's just like, okay, I know what I'm watching. I was already high on this team to begin with, but like, let's say for instance, like right now, if the situation was reversed, if the Raptors were 11-4, 11-5, I would not be panicking until like the 20 game mark. So basically, I look at it this way. My analysis prior to the 21 game mark is 60% of my preseason analysis plus 40% of my observations. My analysis after the 21 game mark is more like 50-50. My analysis after the 30 game mark is like 75 what I see, 25 what I thought. And then by the 40 game mark, it's like 90%, 90% of what I've seen versus 10% of what I thought coming in. So I remove the anchor slowly as I go through the season. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it 100% makes sense. So where I'm at with that is I think you're gonna have off nights, you're gonna have bad nights, you're gonna have good, really good nights that you
Sure.
probably shouldn't have, right? I think after 40 games, you can really tell what a team is. And I know that's almost 50% of the season, but I feel like that body of work gives you enough of an idea of who you are, right? Here's the thing, in my opinion, though. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you think, unfortunately. It's going to matter what Bobby Webster thinks. And we'll see what Bobby Webster thinks based on what he's willing to do with this team near the deadline. If he thinks that this team could
Well, the
potentially
deadline's
be,
almost 50 games into the season.
it is, but into December, I mean, when everybody's, who got extended in the off season's trade eligible, right? Into January 15th, where, the extended guys become trade eligible, right? Like now all of a sudden we really see who he thinks this team is and who the front office thinks this team is. Are they a flash in the pan, or is this a team that can make a run, get past your first round matchup, and all of a sudden now, you're a series away from the Eastern Conference Finals. So
Yeah, that would be interesting.
it will be. And, do you go get Sharp? Do you go get Gafford? Do you try to go get Keon Ellis? Like, what do you do with the RJ situation? Right? Like, because here's my viewpoint. They've learned their mistakes from Fred VanVleet. They've learned that mistake before. They're not going to let another guy walk for free. And they've shown it. When they traded Pascal and OG, they overcorrected because of what they did for Fred. Right? If RJ is on this team post deadline, they will re-sign him. Straight up, they will re-sign him. So it's going to be very, very telling on what they think.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Shout outs to AG and myself for predicting that the Phoenix Suns would win. Remarkably, they did win on a crazy run. With 1 minute and 30 seconds to go, they were down by 5. That's nuts. Okay, Lane, I got to ask you a question now.
Yes,
Golden
sir.
State, Portland, who wins?
What's the score right now?
89 to 91, 92 for Golden State.
Can I bet against Steph? Probably
No, I
not.
don't think you could. And
Probably
also
not.
to the person in the stream or in the comments who said OKC is getting blown out by Utah. This is what happens when good teams put their foot on the gas. Okay, bad teams fold. The number of people who get freaked out by like a 32-12 start for Utah, like, dude, there are teams that allow you to get back into the game. Utah, Wizards, these teams, they're not real. They're not real basketball teams. I think they should be relegated to G League status at times. But, shout outs to Utah Jazz. They've actually managed to win 5 games this season. And but I cannot take any first half lead that this team has seriously. Like, yeah. Tetrahedragon saying Raptors Republic talking about trading for LaMelo Ball. Oh God, I feel like posting that not LaMelo Ball, the Ben Affleck meme. The one where he's like, you know what I'm talking about? Like the Ben Affleck meme where he's like smoking a cigarette, like staring up, like hating his life.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel about LaMelo Ball. I do like LaMelo Ball. I've always defended him, but not on this team, man. Not on this team.
No, you think you think Scotty wants to rip people's heads off every night? Wait till he has to play with LaMelo. Oh my God.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Plus, I mean, respect to Emmanuel Quickley, man. Respect.
IQ is becoming the perfect player for this team, and I was talking with one of my buddies about this the other day because he said he thinks that the Raptors need a passing point guard. We need someone like a Darius Garland or like a Kyrie Irving, somebody like that who needs to be more on-ball dominant. And I told him, I said, Emmanuel Quickley, the way he's developed, he can be that on-ball guard, but traditionally he's an off-ball guard, which is perfect for a guy next to Scotty Barnes.
You consider Kyrie on ball dominant?
Maybe in
Really?
his prime. Okay, if he came to this team, do you think he's going to play that much off ball? Do you think he's going to do what Emmanuel Quickly's doing for you right now, off ball wise?
Yeah, totally. He's a great basketball player. He's a smart dude. He will do what is necessary to win basketball games, I think.
I know he's extremely smart, but they're going to let Kyrie's reputation, and I really like this coaching staff, but you have
Mhm.
Kyrie Irving on your roster. Kyrie Irving is your starting point guard. Granted, he's taking every final shot. I don't care. You know, he's your starting guard. He's taking every final shot.
Right.
But I think Quickly just synergizes when he's hitting his shots so well with Barnes and Ingram. So well because he can play off guard extremely well. He's not a guy that needs the ball in his hands to go drop 20 points. If you tell me Emmanuel Quickly dropped 20 points and 12 to 15 out of those 20 points came with 3 dribbles or less, I believe it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel too.
That's what works out so well for him. And I think they've unlocked RJ too with the cutting, all that type of stuff. I didn't see your video earlier about RJ, but I haven't seen it yet. But like I saw that you made a video. I'm like, yeah, it's got to be about his cutting, and how well he's been cutting. I mean,
100%.
yeah,
100%.
he has
Flowers where flowers are due, man. Like cutting is a skill. It is a really important skill in basketball, and in Darko's system, it's double important that you have good cutters. I think that what RJ is doing, however, is giving you a perfect example of what Lauri Markkanen would look like in this system. I'm just going to throw that out there. Lauri's also an amazing cutter.
He is. He
Yes.
is. I don't know if that's an amazing contract though. That's my only concern.
Yeah, but 7 feet tall and being able to, yeah. I mean,
You probably lose RJ and
does-
Jakob in that deal.
you cannot trade Jakob Poeltl. But yeah, I mean, for one night, probably don't want to talk about trades. But yeah, man, Lauri
hear
Markkanen,
you.
really good player. Really good player. It's good.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
before I get off, just end it on a positive note. Maybe not so positive for you, but probably positive for the guys putting in work right now. If
Okay.
the Raptors were to extend RJ Barrett on a 4-year, $23 million a year deal, what would you say? First reaction.
Cool. Totally fine with it.
Great.
4 years, 23 a year. I'm
Yes.
okay with it. I don't got a problem with it. 4 years, 23 is perfectly fine by me.
Where does it get dicey for you then?
$1 above that, like 25, 24, 26, 30, 32, 34. Sign him to 35. I mean, my God, like I would demand Bobby Webster fire the next day. I think
I can
and
swallow.
I haven't
25.
talked about it in this live, but the focus of Emmanuel Quickly to get RJ Barrett the ball when there are clearly better options on the court who could easily score in those situations, it feels like biased playmaking. And I've been there. I've done it. I've done it myself. Okay, listen, like when we used to do tryouts for high school, you don't think I was giving that open layup where I have 2 guys coming ahead? You don't think I'm manipulating to my left to get the open dunk for my buddy? Of course I am. I'm always going to do that. But in a game, you just got to give it to your best player. And in most cases, most teams in a, like, for instance, to put this completely, imagine OG Anunoby is dribbling the ball, right?
Mhm.
OG Anunoby is dribbling the ball down the court. And on the left side is Jalen Brunson, and he is wide open. And on the right side is Landry Shamet, and he is also wide open. The ball is going to Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, no,
Because
100%.
there's a value to getting your star player touches. You want to keep your star player in rhythm. I think the Raptors allow Scotty to fall out of rhythm. He allows himself to fall out of rhythm. And I don't think Emmanuel Quickly passing to RJ Barrett almost exclusively helps with that because he does it a lot. And when you start looking for it, you can't unsee it. Every time, my God, like he'll come off like a screen and wide open Ingram, and he'll wait for Barrett to flash, and it's like, you looked off Ingram for Barrett. Are you insane? But that's the thing, like, maybe Emmanuel Quickly's like, I'm going to get you paid. Or maybe Emmanuel Quickly is a good company man, and he's like, I'm going to get this guy traded because you need to boost his value. I'm going to boost his numbers. I don't know. You know,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
I'm
man.
not seeing
Yeah.
the forest from the trees right now. But to me, this is not a sustainable way to play basketball, and I don't like it, and I notice it, and I just don't like it. I didn't like it when Fred and Dennis did it. I didn't like when Pascal did it. I don't like this kind of reorienting offense to create statistical production crap. It bothers me, and I can notice it when it's happening. The second unit doesn't play like that. Jamal Shed is not over forcing the ball to Sandro because he's trying to get Sandro paid. Sandro's on a minimum contract. RJ makes $27 million a year. Which one of these guys do you think needs the money more? You know what I mean? So he's not doing that. He's not like, I'm sure Jamal Shed has a best friend on the team. I don't know who that is. I don't know Jamal Shed, but I'm sure like he has a preference between Grady and Jacoby. But when he looks up on the court, he just makes an automatic decision based on who's more open and who is in a better position to score. Scotty Barnes is the same thing. You can look off Scotty Barnes for 4 possessions in a row, and he will still pass you the ball when you're open.
Yep.
Every time. It's like a fucking supercomputer. So that kind of bothers me about this team is once in a while I feel like a couple of guys on this team get a little bit too focused on passing to each other.
A little bit. And just kind of I want your opinion on this too. I think whichever way they decide to go with RJ is going to be completely market oriented. Okay. Because
Okay.
if whatever you sign him to contract wise is going to be what the market demands, because if he is such a negative asset, no team is going to outbid you for him. Right. No, and especially with the new second apron, first apron limitations, no team is gonna go into the luxury for RJ Barrett. No team is gonna, even if you're nowhere near the luxury, no team is gonna put 40% of their cap into RJ Barrett.
Sure.
Okay. You might be able to hardball him a little bit if he gets tough. However, if you completely misread the market on him and one of these teams is willing to, you have missed out on a big potential trade opportunity. Not saying you're going to trade him for
You
what he
mean a
gets in
Fred
free
VanVleet
agency.
situation?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying here. Right. So, if you get to the offseason and you don't trade him, you're going to have to re-sign him. However, here's the reason why he probably doesn't have all the leverage in that situation, because if you didn't trade him, that means no team wanted him, and that means his contract demands are not going to be met for what he wants. I'm not as concerned with his contract, as a lot of people are making it seem, just for those 2 simple reasons alone. And like I said, by the small probability that you completely misread this and he's not a negative asset or whatever, then you completely missed out on trading him at the deadline at that point. You completely missed out, and that's a fireable offense because your administration has let it happen twice now. Even though Masai's not here anymore, Bobby was the GM at the time. Masai was the president. All right, so your GM has let that happen twice now, right? That is why I'm not as concerned. I'm just wondering, what is your opinion on that?
My opinion on it is I hope that they negotiate in good faith. I hope that they understand from past mistakes that this is exactly the type of contract that you give out and then you regret it, just like Gary Trent, just like Chris Boucher. You get a little too enthusiastic. And I hope they pay the skill set and the market as opposed to the emotion, because there's a lot of emotion. Listen, like I listened to Alvin Williams, Vince Carter, Masai Ujiri talk about RJ Barrett. Do you know what an association they must have with this kid? Rowan Barrett has been coming to games since like the early 2000s. RJ Barrett was with him. You got to watch this kid grow up, right? And now he's a Raptor. He it's such a huge story, and I don't think people necessarily acknowledge it, but it is massive. The guy who grew up a Raptor fan was the biggest hope of Canada basketball, won U17, has represented Canada at the Olympics. That guy plays for the Canada's lone basketball team. His leverage is enormous if he realizes it. His
When it comes
leverage is
to
enormous.
Canada, not when it comes to other teams.
Well,
Right? When it comes to us.
actually have an idea, and this is like, a little bit controversial, but it's a good idea. The Brooklyn Nets are the most irrelevant team in the NBA. Agree or disagree?
100% agree.
Okay. It is more likely that you would find a Phoenix Suns fan in Brooklyn than a Brooklyn Nets fan, because everybody in New York loves the Knicks, and
For
the
sure.
Knicks are actually a good team. So my thought process here is, if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, i.e., if I'm Sean Marks and I am Joe Tsai, I am calling about ex-Knicks that may have a fan base that is pre-existing that can garner support for current Brooklyn Nets products.
My only
So-
issue with that is I feel like RJ is to the New York fan base to what Fred VanVleet is to the Toronto fan base.
I agree with that.
yeah,
But you know, there's one person who will buy season tickets on day one, and that's Shannon. So that's one person that will be there every night to support him. And I feel like that maybe is worth it to have that one man there to support, you know, and maybe he'll bring his family. That'll be 3 people there to support.
Elite troll. No, I'm not as concerned about it. I think I hear everyone talk about he's going to want more than Quickly. He's not a better 3-point shooter than Quickly. He's not a better positional defender than Quickly. Right? That alone puts him behind the 8 ball of Quickly. He is a worse basketball player than Emmanuel Quickly in a vacuum. He's a better scorer, worse basketball player overall. And that's no disrespect to
Better
RJ.
score because of the driving.
I feel like the rim pressure puts him ahead, but score as a quote unquote score a bucket getter.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So, what do you think the Raptors' win-loss record is going to be this year, as based on the information you have right now? What's the win-loss record right now?
50-32.
50 wins. Okay, take RJ Barrett off this team and replace him with nothing but what is already on your team, i.e., on day one of the season, this team is just as good, but RJ Barrett is just not on this team. How many games do they win? So you got Jacoby, Ochai, those guys stepping into his spot.
42-40.
So he impacts winning by 8 wins for you?
He might with the scoring. I don't know if Jacoby or Grady are ready yet to work that load. Like the last time we saw Grady in a starting position, he got bitched often.
Yeah,
very.
He didn't have Brandon Ingram and Colin Murray Boyles, and like honestly, you're assuming Grady would start. I'm assuming Jacoby starts or Ochai starts. And
I think he works well for this team. I think any other team probably makes him a little bit worse. I think he works well by where he's at. I don't think Jacoby and Grady make you a better player. And I'm also thinking this is just pure subtraction. So now our bench gets shorter too. Right. So it's not just RJ, it's also our bench gets a little bit shorter.
But then Jamison Battle gets minutes, Jonathan Mobo gets minutes, and you just become a way better defensive team. Like currently walking into tonight, you were like 13th, 14th best defensive team. You take your worst defender out of it or second worst defender out of it, you might actually be like a top 10 defense again. It's worth thinking about.
It is. It's a good question. I think that there's some guys that have such a chemistry with the team they're on, you know, to where it matters a little bit more. Like how many times have we seen guys get moved or traded or whatever, and they're just not what they were in their current place compared to their previous place? That's chemistry. You know, look at Desmond Bane right now.
Right.
Look at Desmond. Like that's the most current example I could think of. Like look.
Yeah,
look
but
at
Desmond Bane has played way better since Paolo's been out. So therein lies the point, right? Like Paolo is the negative defensively. He's an atrocious defender, and people don't realize it because he's big and he rebounds once in a while. Like
Paolo is the closest thing to Rudy Gay that I've ever seen. It's actually kind of funny. They put that dude on a pedestal.
He's so Rudy Gay. He's so much better than Rudy Gay, but he is Rudy Gay. Yeah,
he's the Michael Jordan of Rudy Gays.
The Michael Jordan of Rudy Gays. That's good. Okay, so let's commit. I don't agree with you. I think this team is a 52 win team as constructed. I think they're a 50 win team, maybe 49 win team without RJ Barrett, replacing him with nothing. If I could replace RJ Barrett with who I wanted to replace him with at the beginning of the season, which is Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu, I literally think we're a 56 win team. But whatever. Remove that from the equation. So just straight RJ gone. Okay. What about if you move quickly off this team? You go from 50 wins to what?
36, 37.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
so
that's where I'm at.
13 win impact. And by the way, to anyone, that's not saying Emmanuel Quickly equals 13 win shares. Like, personally, I think
The thing
if
sheds your
you
starting point guard.
remove
Yeah.
either Jakob Poeltl or Emmanuel Quickly off this team, I think you cost yourself at minimum 6 wins, 6 to 7, easily. Either one. Remove them both, you're going to struggle to win any games, like straight up. And that's not a comment on, oh, Brandon Ingram isn't very good or Scotty Barnes isn't good. They're good players. They're really good players. But this is a 5-on-5 sport. And there's nothing that replaces Emmanuel Quickly or Jakob Poeltl on this team. There's plenty of players on this team that play RJ's position. There's plenty of players who can, in a vacuum, do some of the stuff that he does. They're not everything he does, fine, but they also don't get paid $27 million. Like Grady does some of the stuff RJ does, some of it, not all of it. He occupies space very well. He runs in transition. He's just not as good a finisher. You know, Jacoby does a lot of stuff that RJ does well. He slashes. He's just not as good. He's not as refined a driver. He's not as refined a passer. So these just incomplete basketball players. Colin Murray-Boyles does a lot of stuff that RJ Barrett does. A lot. Not perfectly. But again, when you consider importance, Jakob Poeltl and Emmanuel Quickly have to be up there with Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram. So if we're ranking importance, okay, now here's the question. What if you take Scotty off this team? It's like a 30-win team. 32. I think we lost them. I'm talking to myself. We have lost Lane. Oh, we got Lane back.
My
Lane,
apologies. My internet.
no worries. So I said, what if you take Scotty off this team? How many wins you got?
28, 29.
Okay, I don't think it's that dire. The East is pretty bad. I think if you take Scotty off the team, that's your opinion.
And you don't replace him? You don't replace him?
You don't
with
replace him
anything?
with anything.
Yeah,
You're
20,
just
29.
playing like Colin Murray-Boyles in his place.
Yeah.
I think you probably get to about 33 wins.
It's not that far off.
Yeah.
It's really
pretty
not
bad.
that far off.
You're a lottery team. You're really bad. And that's just because of what he papers over defensively, what he means to you, and who it pushes up in the lineup. Like, you've been able to win games without Colin Murray-Boyles. No problem. No problem. You're able to win games without Colin Murray-Boyles. We haven't had to play any games without Emmanuel Quickly or RJ Barrett. We certainly didn't look good without healthy Jakob Poeltl. But that's because healthy Jakob Poeltl glues together healthy Emmanuel Quickly and also healthy RJ Barrett. Like, Yak is the glue that holds Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett together. You take him off, neither one of those guys are as good as they are.
It's
know what I
so
mean?
funny how criticized that trade was when it happened, and I understand why it was criticized for the reason. No, the Jakob trade.
Oh, I was front and center criticizing it,
But
and I still do.
I understand at the time. Me, however, I wanted to make a run. I think more trades needed to happen other than just Jakob. It seemed like they were just fine with Jakob. Is what it is. Bygones are bygones. However, the fact that where that's trade has ended up for us now, I mean, we couldn't live without it.
Couldn't live without it. Well,
I don't know who else you get to play the 5 position potentially.
How about Walker Kessler, Donovan Clingan, or the handful of centers that we have missed out on in the draft precisely because of that trade?
I don't think we would have drafted those guys with Masai.
But if you wanted to trade for Jakob, why wouldn't you trade for Donovan Clingan? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you draft? I mean, by the way, we had AG up here offering the country of Canada. Shout outs to AG. He was trying to offer the country of Canada for Derek Lively. I'll remind you, you don't get Jakob Poeltl, you might be able to draft Derek Lively.
When have the Raptors ever drafted for need over talent in the last
Derek Lively was a top-rated high school player.
No, they were. But when have we ever drafted, in our minds, the best available needed position player over the best available player in the last few years? We haven't. Right?
Okay.
We just haven't. Like, I agree with you. Those guys are great. Those guys are, 5 years from now, they're better than Jakob.
But we don't know that Derek Lively and Donovan Clingan weren't like top 5 on their board, because they should have been. They were great players. They're great prospects, right?
I mean, we're arguing sticks and stones at this point, right? I think with what we have, I'm happy with it, because for what this team needs right now, he is going to be better than a Clingan is for your team right now. Now, Clingan 5 years down the road, different story. Completely different story, right?
Donovan Clingan as a defender right now is better than Jakob Poeltl.
100%
as a rebounder is better. He's not as good an offensive player. And here's the funny thing. I listen to a lot of people tell me that Jakob Poeltl is not a starting center, and I laugh. I laugh my ass off. He is absolutely a starting center. My God. He's not a top 10 center, but he's not a bottom 10 starting center. He's certainly a hell of a lot better than DeAndre Ayton
What do you
and
mean, man?
Jonas
Sam Mitchell said he's top
Valanciunas.
5. Sam Mitchell said he's top 5.
Sam Mitchell also said Scotty Barnes is going to be better than Kawhi Leonard if he becomes a better 3-point shooter. Sam Mitchell is on crack. Okay.
Sam
He's
Mitchell
actually on crack. I don't know if it's fentanyl or crack. If you, my God, man, if you are an NBA player who watched Kawhi Leonard and watches Scotty Barnes, and you say the only gap between these two guys is Scotty's a worse jump shooter, I think you need to be checked. You might need to be checked. Like, you need to be crazy.
I get where
What
he's
the
coming.
fuck?
I get where he's coming from, but that's like saying the difference.
What?
Between hold on. Yeah, let me finish. That's like saying the difference between me and Steph Curry is if I shot as well as Steph, I'd be as good as him. You know what I'm saying?
But you're
You know
not
what
a
I'm saying?
former NBA coach player. Like,
Right. I get you.
you're a
I get
baseball
you.
coach. I might expect a baseball coach to say something like that. And honestly, even if you said that, I'd be super disappointed. I'd be disappointed if anyone in this community said, if I shot better, I'd be as good as Steph Curry. I'd be like, but what about the hand-eye coordination, off-ball movement, conditioning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
What do you mean,
Yes.
man? That stuff doesn't exist. That doesn't
Yes.
matter when it goes into
Footwork,
the equation.
assertiveness, mental,
No.
like just the overall dogness, handle. Kawhi is so much tighter with his handle. Like, I have studied so much Kawhi tape, and I'm such a big Scotty fan that when somebody comes along and makes me, for a moment, into a bit of a Scotty hater, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I always said it. Like, people are like, "Oh, he's such a Scotty Glazer." I'm like, no, I just think he's one of the most underrated players in the world, and I won't shut up until people recognize it. But then someone's like, well, you just say everything good about Scotty. And I was like, I promise you, the day people start saying that he's better than Michael Jordan, I will like push back.
Make a
That
Scotty Lowlight
comment
video.
about as close as it gets. Like, my God.
We
better
need a
than
Scotty
Kawhi.
Lowlight video. That's what we need.
I mean, shit. Like, that game after he had the game that he had in Cleveland, I actually made a video the very next day saying this is what he needs to fix. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
I did do that.
There's honesty.
100% true.
Let's call a spade a spade. You're a fan, a huge fan. He's your favorite player.
Yep.
But you say how it is sometimes. Like, I growing up, I know you won't know because you're not a baseball guy. Well, you might because he's a Canadian. You know who Joey Votto is?
Nope.
Okay, Joey Votto, the best Canadian baseball player of all time, played for my hometown Cincinnati Reds. And everyone criticized him growing up. You know, like, he was the guy that got criticized, but he was also the franchise guy. You know, I defended him. It's the same way, dude. I get it. I completely get it.
Right.
Taller than MJ. Yes, taller equals better.
So someone is saying Scotty is a better passer than MJ. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he is. I think you can make a case. MJ is a crazy underrated passer, by the way.
Yeah.
He's very, very underrated. Someone saying Derek Queen had a monster game today. Yes. Okay, let's see. What did he do? A lot of people are really, really thinking that trade might have actually been good. He had 20 points, 11 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 turnovers. Dope. Cool. Good stuff.
You could have thrown a top 3 protection on that pick, and the Hawks still might have taken it. The fact you did it was almost malpractice.
I agree. Yeah. But you know what? There's a really, really good chance that if he really, really works out,
you're not even thinking about it. And then, like, Pearson and DeBonsa and Boozer all bust. And then, oh, wow, you avoided bust and got baby Jokic.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
6'11". I'm actually curious, like, if you could do it again, would you take him over Colin Murray-Boss?
Who, Derek Queen?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if Derek Queen would have this much success as he's having in New Orleans with the opportunities that he gets in New Orleans compared to what he would get here.
Dude, he would have more success in Toronto. This offense was literally designed for a player of his exact skill set. And by the way, it's very interesting to me that people talk about RJ Barrett in this situation. He is basically 6'11" RJ Barrett. Do you see that?
I do a little bit.
He's basically 6'11" RJ Barrett. I don't know why people are comparing him to Jokic. I mean, I do it myself flippantly to piss people off. He's 6'11" RJ Barrett.
I think my hesitancy comes from the fact that I haven't seen enough of Colin yet. But from what I have seen, he doesn't, like, what I really like about Colin is he doesn't try to fit out. He fits in. Right? He's not trying to be someone who he's not. He's not trying to make this team something that it's not. He comes in, he wants to fit in seamlessly. You know what he reminds me of? Very early OG Anunoby development track.
He is
I'm just
actually better than OG Anunoby as a rookie so
I
far.
bet he is. I bet he is. And he's just going to come in. And what I mean by I'm not saying he's OG Anunoby. That's not what I'm trying to say. But he's going to come in, fit in seamlessly. Every year goes by, bigger role, bigger role, bigger role, bigger role. And that's how it's going to be for him. And that's how they're going to raise him up. Right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I see for him.
I think the offensive opportunity that was there for him in South Carolina, I liked what I saw a lot more from him than I did from Queen. I just think Queen's game is so herky-jerky and it's so interesting. I think the opportunities that have been afforded to him, he would not get over here.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Yeah, that's exactly.
I think that's probably accurate. What you're saying is like he wouldn't necessarily be force feed the ball and get 20 shots here. At the same time, you know, the jump shot and the defense and the motor and the persistence and the dog and all that stuff is, yeah, like that's tough. Someone said RJ with worse defense and even worse 3-point shot. Dude, he is not a worse defender than RJ Barrett. You cannot possibly physically be 6'11" and be a worse defender than RJ Barrett. Like it's not likely. I don't think so. I don't think he's a worse defender than RJ Barrett at all. I hate his motor at times. I like RJ's motor, but in terms of instincts, his hands are very active. He can deflect passes. You know, he's great with that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it would have been interesting to get a second pick to get him. Honestly, like I wish we had gotten a second pick and just taken a chance on him as well. I had a lot of concerns about him at the draft, but I think I liked him a little bit better than Noah Senge. And there were times when I was like thinking about Kaman Malawach so much, and I'm like, you know, as the season went on, every draft ranking I did, you notice like early on I had Kaman Malawach 3rd, 4th, and then suddenly he started going 6th, 7th, 8th. I started to cool on Kaman because I started to see the holes in his game, and I started to be like, I think Derek Queen might be better than Kaman Malawach in 3 years. I think Derek Queen might be better than Kaman Malawach in 3 years, because I always discount prospects who have motor concerns. Like I discounted Kalel Ware for the same reason. Like whenever I hear motor concerns and I see motor concerns, I'm always out on a prospect when I see that. But with Derek Queen, I'm just like, who knows, man? Like who knows? Maybe
The
he
talent's
pulled it together.
The
Talent is
definitely there.
insane. Even watching his McDonald's All-American game, you know, because Carter played in that game, Coop played in that game, Trey Johnson played in that game, Dylan Harper played in that, they all played in that game. He stood out. Like he stood way the hell out. Like he was a man among children.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was completely wrong. I will have to admit I was a big Kaman Malawach fan, but I think the more I look
He's
back
still
now,
18.
and I understand that, but what's the difference between him and Christian Koloko, Cooper Flagg, and Kneppel, right? Like, if Koloko would have had those two in college, we'd be talking about Koloko as a top 10 lottery pick too.
Koloko had Benedict Mathurin.
But Benedict Mathurin is not Colin Kneppel or Cooper Flagg.
Fair, and
you know what I mean.
But in fairness, like Christian Koloko was a really good collegiate player by the time he got to his 3rd year.
Oh, he
and
was.
By the way,
No,
Christian
he
Koloko
was.
just got waived.
He was.
Did you know that?
Let's get it back. We have an open roster spot. He's going to cost absolutely nothing. You give him no guarantees. You bring him on to Exhibit 10. You see how he performs. Go get his ass.
Facts. Okay, without looking, do you remember how the Thunder were down like 15 points in the first quarter?
Yeah, I do.
Any guesses in terms of what the score is right now?
Screw it. They're up 25.
Let's check. I'm going to guess they're up like 25. Would you say 25?
I said 25, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to guess 30.
You're probably closer than I am. I saw someone said they hit 23 threes in chat, so that's why it was 25. Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh my God. People fell for the fake Utah Jazz first quarter lead. I swear to, sorry, I don't know why that comment was so triggering to me. I saw this comment and someone said, the Jazz are about to blow out the OKC Thunder. Give yourself an L if you were the person who said that. The minute I saw that, I'm like, I have to watch this game because there's no way in hell that's happening.
How many points does Bryce have tonight?
Bryce Sensabaugh. Can I guess? I'm going to guess. Oh, I don't have to guess. It's right here. Bryce Sensabaugh is 7 points. 7 points. Okay. Kyle Filipowski had 14. Isaiah Joe had 16. Jalen Williams had 15. Those are guys on the court. But overall, cool. Chet Holmgren really Really quiet game, 5 for 14. But Shea pulled it together, 31 points. 31 points on 12 free throws and
If you're
14 shots. Just really, really easy. Everything's easy, man.
if your current second best player right now with J Dub out shoots 5 for 14 and you're up by damn near 40, you're unfair. And oh, by the way, they're gonna have two lottery picks this year.
Do you know the thing I said about Scotty Barnes having gears? Like
Mhm.
how he has another gear. Brandon Ingram has another gear. This team has another gear. I have to tell you, like the two best teams I've ever seen in my life play basketball live, the 16 Warriors and the 2024 OKC Thunder.
If these
I
guys,
didn't actually get to see the 2019 Raptors play live, unfortunately. I got to see the 2018 Raptors play live, but I didn't get to see the 2019 Raptors play live. So yeah, like that, those two teams. Like
if these guys win 4 of the next 5 championships, I'm not surprised.
totally. Yeah, they're so unfair. Like you got to understand, guys, like Shea is barely trying.
It's going to take a monumental injury for these guys not to win 4 of the
Touch
next
wood,
5.
touch wood, touch wood.
Touch wood. Right.
I'm
I'm not
actually-
wishing for it. I'm not wishing for it, obviously.
Yeah, it's a weird identity thing where, you know, I've been in Canada so much longer than I lived in Serbia, even though Serbia is like technically what I identify with the most. My last name's Serbian, my family's Serbian, et cetera, et cetera. So obviously I should be like way, way more Team Jokic than Team Shea. But right now, like in terms of whose legacy am I more invested in, I'm equally invested in both legacies. Like I feel I feel this very strong connection to Shea as a Canadian basketball player and what he's doing for Canadian basketball, what he means for Canadian basketball, all that stuff. So it's interesting for me because again, for most of my life, I really just have identified as American, like an American Serb living in Canada, and now I'm feeling like a very strong pull towards Canada, and I don't know what it is, but yeah, I feel like Shea is like my story in basketball right now. You know, like I want him to win like 6 championships. I want him to be on like Jordan arc. And if he's not winning championships, I want the Raptors to win championships. You know what I mean?
Bring him home. Get his
Yeah.
ass home. I hope like before his career is over, he at least gets a season or 2 in Toronto. That would be great.
I think everyone's hoping for that.
That would be great. I mean, I'm not Canadian. I'm not from there, but I'm even, obviously I'm a Raptors fan, but like, I think that'd be cool as hell to happen. Like, I think the whole RJ Barrett thing's cool to happen because we were teased for years, like, oh, Chris Boucher's here. Oh, Kelly Olynyk's here. And it's like, let's call a spade a spade. RJ's so much better than those guys. So the fact that you probably have a top 15 player in Canadian basketball history, and top 15 is very liberal, playing for you right now, that's pretty damn cool.
Where's RJ Barrett all time? Let's see. Number 1, Shea. Number 2, Steve Nash. Number 3, Jamal Murray.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Jamal Murray, one of the Jamals, but clearly Jamal Murray. Jamal Magloire, RJ Barrett, Andrew Wiggins, like those are the guys. I mean, I think I could put Andrew Wiggins above. I think I could put Andrew Wiggins above RJ Barrett because he has a championship, and he's just done way more.
Maple Jordan.
He has done more. Like, I'll just be clear, he hasn't done more for Canada, but he's definitely done more in the NBA, and he's been a better player.
So top 6, top 7.
Yeah, top 6, top 7.
That's cool.
Canadian
That's
basketball
really
player of
cool.
all time. There was also a guy, Bill Wennington, was also Canadian, if I recall correctly, from the Chicago Bulls way back when.
Yeah. You outdated me.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but
yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
a little bit outdated.
I'm thinking about other Canadians. I really can't think of any, unfortunately. Man, I'm drawing blanks. I'm thinking about like Kelly Olynyk. So yeah,
We saw that. Like,
someone says Steph Curry played junior high school in Toronto. I know. Oh, I know.
He was born. You know where he was born?
Ah, Rick Fox. Yes, Rick Fox and Leo Routens. Yes, Corey Joseph, Tristan Joseph. I actually, I've played DeVoe, Corey's brother, before. That's cool. I saw Corey growing up as well. Javon Shepard. There's so many good basketball players. You can, okay, if you weren't a member, I would ban you for this. What? Why would you bring this up? Why even talk about this guy?
He even had a cameo with Toronto.
I'm trying to forget it.
Everyone's saying Lou Dort. No Lou Dort love.
Oh, Lou Dort, my God. Dude, Lou Dort or RJ Barrett?
In terms of Canada greatness, RJ. In terms of the better basketball player, Lou Dort.
Yeah. I feel like personally I'm not giving enough credit to Jamal McGlure. Big Cat Jamal McGlure was a shout outs Canadian
I
legend.
loved when he was on the bench as an assistant coach.
I did too. He brought a certain level of toughness. He used to have he's dope, man. Like he used to have barbecues, for the entire community, like cookouts here in Toronto, which is really dope. Like he used to pay for all the food and just be like, everyone come out. And plus, Big Cat was still from the time in Toronto hoops where basketball really wasn't taken that seriously in Canada. So, shit, Andrew Nemhard is a great name. Andrew Nemhard. Nikhil Alexander Walker. What am I doing here? There's so many good ones. Keyshawn George. Yes. Thank you. This is why I lost in the PCL. I can't think fast right now. Someone said Jay Triano. Oh, God. One of my most hated coaches in Raptors history. Tristan Thompson, begrudgingly. Shaden Sharp.
Was it Steve Nash from Toronto? Is it he
No, he was not. He was born in Africa and then he grew up in Vancouver.
Gotcha. Okay.
Someone said Trey Lyles. Damn. Yo, Canada got players. Dylan Brooks. Is Dylan Brooks a better basketball player than RJ Barrett?
No. Respectfully, no.
Are you sure?
I am sure. Dylan Brooks is a better three-point shooter. He's a better defender. Is he a better basketball player?
I'm gonna ask win shares to tell me who's got more win shares in their career. Dylan Brooks has 15.3. RJ Barrett, he has 14.6. Win share says it's got to be Dylan Brooks. I'm joking, by the way, but I'm also not joking.
It helped that Brooks played on those really good Grizzlies teams.
It pains me very, very much to give Dylan Brooks his flowers, but like for real, yeesh. He's scored
he's
less.
Good, don't get me wrong. He's good, but
he's played 100 more games, which is why he has more win shares. He is somehow even less effective from the field. He has a negative 3.3 box plus minus on his career, which is honestly unheard of.
That's impressive. The fact that he played.
This is impossible. What? How is he so bad? You have a negative 4.9 value of a replacement. How? What? That's not possible.
Let's go. RJ clears.
What? How is this even humanly possible? How can you be so bad? What?
That's impressive, honestly. Like he was on those really good Grizzlies teams. Rockets weren't bad last year.
What? Okay, I need to know. Did he have 3 really horrible seasons? Because he's been a good player. He's so specialized in his defensive tenaciousness and stuff. I also found him to be a pretty overrated defender too. So I'm just kind of curious, oh, it's these first years. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. These numbers are wow. Negative 4 boxes minus across those 1, 2, 3, 4 years. They're really dragging his production down. He's actually leveled out this year. So he did get better. Shout outs to him, but he's 30. So also shout outs to him.
Yeah, what's it look like this year? Him versus RJ? RJ's got more points, obviously, but efficiency wise, what does that look like?
He's a higher volume 3-point shooter. He has been for a few years now. He's also over the last 3 years, he's probably been relatively close in terms of 3-point shooting efficiency. He has that very, very funky ass jump shot. He is an overall competent shooter, but he's very turnover prone.
He plays basketball like a guy at the Y would play basketball, in my mind.
Like a really shitty YMCA?
Really just he's out there 5 days a week. He gets off his 9 to 5. He heads straight to the Y of the hoop. 30-year-old dude. He played D3 ball in college. That is Dylan Brooks to a T, the type of basketball that he plays.
Is he an LA Fitness MVP? As Colosso says, is he an LA Fitness? And
100%. He's the type of guy I see 1v1ing flight reacts.
Yo, shout outs to Sim Bular. There were a pair of brothers, Indian brothers from Canada. There was a Negus Webster Chan Stefan Jankovic. My God, man. Canada basketball. Nope. No poll said there's no way bro is still alive. But
We're on a
it's
6-game win streak, man. We don't get this shit often.
Do you know prior to the season I made a deal with myself that I would get a haircut until the Raptors won 3 straight? You know how many haircuts I can get now? 2. I desperately need a haircut. But yeah. Anyways, Lane, thanks for calling in. Any final thoughts,
Yes,
man?
sir. No, I'm good. I talked enough. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I hope you feel better, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great night, man.
Great night. Peace. Okay. Let's get to this. So appreciate your bro. So AJ26ER, AJ26er, member for 1 month, said appreciate you, bro. Pensare basketball IQ up. I'm assuming that means your basketball IQ is up. So thank you for that comment. Already addressed this super chat, but I hope your ankle feels a lot better. And not Donald Fagan gifted 5 Pensare basketball memberships. And with those 5 basketball memberships, I believe we have crossed the threshold. The number that has eluded us for nearly a year, or nearly 2 months since we launched memberships, 3 months, 200. This gift of 5 Pensare basketball memberships launches us temporarily, of course, because gifted memberships do expire and people do actually have to re-sign up with their own credit card or whatever. But for a moment in time, I will look at our members and I will see 200 members that could potentially come into our Sunday lives. Speaking of Sunday lives, we will do a Sunday live. And if you are a member on this channel, please let me know what you would like that live to be on. Would you like it to be on something data specific, a certain type of play style, tracking data, something interesting that you would like to have me talk about? Member lives are really cool because they're a way to be, you know, a little bit more detail oriented, put a few hours into a film session, et cetera, et cetera. This is how you sign up for becoming a member. This is what you get. Thank you very much. Also, we have post games. We have post game lives. I will not deprive you of that. I apologize taking so long, but you know, great conversation with Lane. Let's get to your boy Scotty Barnes. I can't tell you how much I am so happy to not hear flippant comments about teammates as if they're rivals. Just like praise. Do you know what I mean? Like just unfiltered praise for your teammate. How beautiful is that? No backhanded compliments. No, well, we'll see if he can keep it up. Like to see him keep doing it. We know he could be a good defender. Just don't call your teammates out, bro. Like good stuff. Love it. Bro, I feel bad for the guy who's asking the question because I don't think Scotty understood your question, but I understood your question. I mean, and also Darko adjusted the scheme. We stopped being so press all the time because we realized we didn't have the personnel for it. So you kind of conceded. That's part of it.
So you see us pushing ourselves out there and we're picking this thing right back up.
Shout out to Scotty Barnes. Okay, that's it from me. I'm going to leave Darko's video and I'm actually going to leave it on the screen. I'm going to put our membership live thing, but in order to avoid copyright, we're just going to play the video and put a screen over it. And that'll be the end of the video.
Our guys, they respond really well at halftime. You know, every halftime we.
This is no lie. The Raptors net rating in second halves is insane. Thank you to all our callers. Thank you to all our members. And thank you to the Toronto Raptors for not ruining my weekend, honestly. And Pepperjack, thank you. Always on the clutch, gifting 10 more Pensare basketball memberships. That puts us at a total of 211 members. Thank you so much to not Donald Fagan. And thank you so much to Pepperjack again. Dude, crazy generosity here. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the super chats, everything you do for this community. You know what? There's been different people at different times. You know, it's been Recruiter Dude at times. Sometimes it's Susan Garrett. Sometimes it's, you know, Leslie. There's so many generous people in this community that have, you know what? Time is not free. People who call in and talk, that's generosity too. You know, likes are not free. People who like the video, that's also generosity. Comments, people who take time to watch the games, watch the lives. take 10 minutes to write out 4 paragraphs. I promise you, whether I get back to you or not, I do read your comments and I appreciate every one of you. So thank you so much for everything that you do. I have been truly, truly humbled by all the flowers from the callers and everything. And thank you for being on this journey with me. It feels really good. I just want to pull Darko off and just say something kind of personal here. It feels really good to cover a good Raptors team. I hope that throughout the years, that I have an irrational love for this team. I really do. I have an irrational love for this coach, for this organization, for this city, for this franchise, for the franchise player, for a lot of the players on the team, especially some of the young guys, BI, and watching them kind of get slandered by the entire league, media, preseason reports. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to hear Bleacher Report call your favorite player the 40th best player or the 45th best player. It doesn't feel good to have Bleacher Report come out and say that your max former All-Star is the 77th best player. It doesn't feel good to have Bleacher Report not rank, not even rank Jakob Poeltl, I believe. Like, what are we doing here? Was it Yak who didn't get Emmanuel Quickly who didn't get ranked? It feels so weird. So you want these guys to get their flowers. You want them to experience the joy that a lot of former Raptor teams have enjoyed, which is the fans. And Raptor fans, sometimes very push-pull relationship with some Raptor fans. Sometimes I say that this fan base is so super irrational, but they're very passionate, and when this team has something good to celebrate, there's something that they can identify with, like that ragtag group that we started supporting in 2014 that eventually won a championship. It brings out the best, I think, in people. I would like to think it brings out the best in people, right? Colosso saying doesn't feel good when you have your own media shit on your franchise player. Doug Smith and hello and welcome. Yeah. I mean, look, I think everyone's kind of staring out their own window, and I'll actually share something with you guys that kind of hit home for me today. And this is more like a life thing that sometimes people say they really like, that I include like real life tidbits. So I'll say this. The story is of Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards. And if you've watched Inglourious Bastards, you know that it is about the N-word, not that N-word, another N-word from Germany, that N-word. And it is about the tormenting of Jews. And Christoph Waltz plays that N-word. Sorry, I'm trying not to say it so my video does not get flagged. And as an actor, he really came onto the scene, and he was obscure. He was doing art house theater, stuff like that in Europe, but he wasn't like known mainstream until that role in Inglourious Bastards. And so when he was asked about the role, he had this statement where he, they were just like, "How did you play this evil guy so well?" And he was kind of confused by the statement. He said, "Evil guy? He wasn't evil." He was so confused by the statement. The point here is that nobody thinks that they're wrong. Nobody's trying to do the wrong thing, right? When somebody says you need to trade Scotty Barnes because he's not a real franchise player for Kevin Durant, that's what they think the right thing to do for the Raptors is. When people say, I think we need to trade 5 first-round picks and Scotty Barnes for Giannis, that's because they want the Raptors to be good. And that's the way that their mind has come to the conclusion that the Raptors can be good. Some people think RJ Barrett needs to be traded so that Herb Jones can come to Toronto. And that's their way of saying Raptors be good. And some people think RJ Barrett should be here for the next 7 years. And that's their way of thinking the Raptors should be good. We all want the Raptors to be good. And, it's funny. I remember one time, and this was like 3 years ago, and I hope he doesn't mind I share the story. And I was talking to Scotty's trainer, Brian, and we were talking actually on air here. So this is not a private conversation. This is a public conversation that we had. And we were talking about the Raptors and what they can do differently and everything. And he's really wise. Like, he's really smart. Like, he can say a lot without saying directly. Like he sees like some of the stupid things that I've said, the stupid things that I've done, probably like some of the conspiracies in my mind and things that I believe. And he's very patient about it. And so he said, we just all want the Raptors to be good. It doesn't matter how they become good. We just all want the Raptors to be good. And it wasn't until like today when I really started thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, we do. It really doesn't matter. All this other stuff doesn't matter. Does it matter to me so much whether you think Emmanuel Quickley is better than Jamal Shead or Jamal Shead is better than Emmanuel Quickley? They play on the same team. It doesn't matter to me if you think Brandon Ingram is more important than Scotty Barnes. It really doesn't matter. It mattered a lot when we were losing because, you know, the guy who was not better usually got more of the blame. But right now they're winning. So I want to support that as much as I can. And I have actually never really gotten to support a Toronto Raptors team that I thought functioned the way I wanted a team to function. Even the 2021-2022 team wasn't really how I wanted this team to play basketball. And for years, I pushed for this team to change their culture, change their coach, change the star player, and now change their philosophy, change the way that they play basketball. My earliest Pensare Basketball videos were about how stagnant this offense was. And today, I'm watching not stagnant offense. I used to sit here and talk about post-game lives where leaders, fake leaders, were throwing young teammates under the bus. And now I see leaders who don't do that at all. They don't take digs at their teammates. I used to watch coaches throw players under the bus, and I don't see this coach throwing anybody under the bus. So to me, this is a very, very beautiful, you know, team. Whether they win, you know, a round in the playoffs and win nothing in the playoffs, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I personally hope that Raptors media people, content creators, all those people, I've kind of let a lot of that stuff go. William Liu, Josh Lewenberg, these people, I've kind of let it go because I've kind of re-understood their perspective as they didn't know Scotty was going to be this good. They thought he'd never shoot well. They thought he was weird and lazy and possibly acoustic and probably just thought he was a brat because they were listening to the wrong people. And honestly, if I was listening to Fred VanVleet tell me how Scotty Barnes was a brat and didn't take workouts seriously, I'd probably be sitting there talking about him like the way people talk about Derek Queen, you know? So I think people always kind of chase the money. I'm not really chasing money. I'm chasing truth. And the truth is that we have more common ground with people that we are disagreeing with than we realize. And I think it will really help to bridge the gap and the divide between a lot of people if we can just start to understand people that we disagree with politically, economically, religiously, as they think what they're saying is right. Nobody thinks that they're bad. Nobody thinks that they're evil. Okay, nobody thinks that they're ruining the world. You think they're ruining the world because, you know, they're trying to change a law that you don't agree with, or, you know, like nobody thinks that. People stare out their own window and that's how they arrive to that conclusion. And I think that's kind of where I'm at with that. So hopefully that makes your interaction with the next person you disagree with a little bit easier. And I know this is rich coming from me because I've often been so quick to malign the media. And even today, I shit all over Bill Simmons, but I honestly feel that was I think that was warranted. Okay.
Talk